That's the benefit of Blue.
Hey, Rules.
FNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
And your home for Royals baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer, and baked beans are trash.
You're listening.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. After months of discussing it, we finally know who the Chiefs have drafted in round one of the NFL draft. With the 6th overall pick, the Kansas City Chiefs trade up to go get Mansour Delane, the corner out of LSU. Also, with the 29th overall pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select defensive tackle Peter Woods from Clemson University. We have a lot to discuss on today's show. I did not want today's show to be bogged down by guests. I want today to be my reaction. I want today to be your reaction. I want Rob to give his thoughts. You guys will find this hard to believe. Rob does not like the Chiefs' number 6 overall selection. I want to hear from you guys. I promise you we will take phone calls today, 913-586-7965. I want to tell you guys a couple of things. Number one, I want to thank each and everybody that came out yesterday to watch the draft with us at the Brooksider. It's always great to see you guys, shake your hands, have a drink, watch the NFL draft together. So I want to thank everybody that came out to the Brooksider as we watched round one of the NFL draft. Number two, I want to tell you guys to listen to the show each day at 2 o'clock. I also need you guys to tell one friend to check out the show. And most importantly, I need you to remember that the open of the show is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. If you want to continue to watch the NFL draft, a great place to do that is with our friends over at The Other Place. So let me tell you guys a quick story about my experience yesterday. There was a clear buzz in the room because the Chiefs were flowing, the appetizers were being shared. Everybody was in a phenomenal mood. Now, I knew that the Chiefs were trading up because I was following it on social. Not on your phone and you want to watch the television show happen in real time, I want to give you that experience. There was a roar when it was announced on ESPN that the Chiefs were trading up because I don't think a lot of people knew who they were trading up for. It then was announced by Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the National Football Watch Party down at Power and Light, the media, because I wanted to see if it was a different reaction. And it was met with very, very similar feelings. Let me tell you guys why I like this selection. They, by far and away, got the best corner in this year's NFL draft. Now, before I was Charger Dot, before I was Clown Dot, or whatever you think the C stands for, my OG name was Corner Dot. You will never, ever hear me be upset that the Kansas City Chiefs selected the best cornerback in the National Football League draft. We are talking about a passing league. We are talking about a league in which you need 2 or 3 really good corners. And just based off where the Kansas City Chiefs selected him, they think they have one of the best corners in the National Football League. We cannot speed past that point. That is the standard that I am going to hold Mansour Delane to. I am going to hold him to based off the resources that the Kansas City Chiefs used, based on where he was selected in the NFL draft. In my opinion, the Chiefs made a declaration to all of us that they think Delane has a chance to be one of the best corners in the league. They think he can be Sauce Gardner. They think he can be Derek Stingley. They think he can be Patrick Surtain II. They think he can be a game-changing kind of cornerback. And if you look at his numbers at LSU, it's hard for me to tell them that they're wrong. Let me go through the numbers if you haven't seen it. Mansour Delane last year gave up 14 catches playing in the SEC. We're not talking about a guy that played small-town college football. We're talking about a guy that suited up every Saturday in the SEC. He gave up 14 catches last year on 357 snaps. If you also take a closer look into the numbers, he did not allow a receiver to have multiple catches on him in a game last season. So we are talking about a corner at the college level that played at a lockdown level. I did my research today. Let's keep going through the numbers. 14 catches on 357 snaps. He did not give up a single touchdown last year in the SEC. He committed 0 penalties last year playing in the SEC. I want to say that one more time in case you weren't paying attention. He did not get a single holding call last year. He did not get a targeting call last year. He did not get a pass interference call last year. So not only was he playing lockdown coverage on some of the best college football players in the country, he also was doing it clean and not committing penalties. Quarterbacks throwing towards Mansour Delane last year had a 31.3 passer rating and completed less than 40% of their passes last year. It goes without saying, when you look at the numbers, they got an elite high-end corner prospect. Now, this is the part that I do have my questions for, and I understand if today you stand with me and have the exact same questions about this player. What if they're right? Let's say that the Chiefs, based on where they selected Mansour Delane, think that he can be Sauce Gardner, think that he can be Derek Stingley. And what if he actually becomes Derek Stingley? Are they prepared to pay Delane? Because that's my question. A big reason of why I didn't spend too much time talking about it on this show, and we didn't spend too much time talking about it on this show, is if a corner was available, I thought they were going to pass because that's just not a position that they pay. And if you're going to commit a top 10 pick to a guy, I don't think you are committing to, well, if he pans out, we're just going to trade him at the end of his rookie contract. No. If he turns out to be what you think he can be, and like it can be, there's been a lot of conversation about what a outside corner is and what an inside corner is, who can cover ones, who can cover on the inside. If you take a cornerback with the 6th overall pick, you think he can match up against anybody. You think he can match up against Puka Nacua. You think he can match up against Justin Jefferson. You think he can match up against Jamar Chase. It doesn't care size, speed, color, agility, whatever those things. If you feel that strongly about a corner, we're on the Chiefs board, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into it. They think that he was one of the 5 best players in this year's draft class. That is the standard that Carrington is holding you to. I want to see you be able to go up against Nico Collins and hold your own. I want to see you be able to go up against Justin Jefferson and hold your own. I want to see you be able to go up against JSN and hold your own. That's what the Chiefs told me when they used the 6th overall pick. And it's deeper than that. They used the 9th pick, the 74th pick, and another pick to go up and go get you. They think the world of your ability. And based on what you accomplished in college, I understand why they feel that way. But, and this is my biggest question, but I don't have the answer yet. I know what the history says, and I know what the data says, but I also remember there was a time 4 years ago where people were adamant they wouldn't spend a first-round pick on a corner. Oh, they never spend first-round picks on a corner. Well, they did. They traded up, actually, to go get a corner. They traded up in the first round to go get Trent McDuffie, and it worked. They think Delane has a chance of being a better corner than Trent McDuffie, based off the resources, based off where he was selected in the NFL draft. If they're right, do they plan on paying him? I don't have a problem paying corner. The Chiefs seem to have the problem paying the corner. But I don't want to now think 4 years out for they already trading him. He hasn't played for the team. I don't know what number he's going to wear for the Chiefs. I'm not already futuristic trading this guy. I like the pick. We can take your phone calls, 913-586-7965. We will talk about Peter Woods. They didn't just draft one player yesterday. They drafted 2. But I think the controversy, so to speak, comes with the 6th overall pick. I've certainly got more on this. I want to talk about the value of where they selected him. I want to talk about how the board fell. I want to talk about what I think drafting Peter Woods represents for Kansas City in 2026 and beyond. It is very, very clear to me that Kansas City went into this offseason with a clear mindset of, we need to retool our defense. We were missing a running game last year on offense. We were missing a strong voice on offense. That's what they got. On defense, they've really made a lot of decisions. They've moved on from some guys. They brought in some younger players. They're elevating some players. They've signed in free agency a handful of guys that you expect to contribute and start from day one. They have made a pretty radical decision when it comes to their defense. We'll talk more about it. But to summarize the open for today, I like the pick. You will never hear me complain about a team spending resources at one of the 5 most important positions on the field. You could argue they had more important needs, but they drafted a very good player at a position of need. And I cannot come on here after 4 months of telling you, take a swing, take a swing, take a swing. If you like your player, go get him. That's exactly what they did. Sure, I would have wanted them to go get David Bailey. Sure, I wish they had traded up to go get Arvell Reese. We'll talk about if he was actually available or not. But I cannot be on here in January, February, and March telling you, hey, go get your guy, go get your guy. And then in April, they go get their guy, and I'm unhappy with the guy they got. No, I got to see how it plays itself out. I'm not arguing his skill set. I'm not arguing his ability. I'm not arguing what he accomplished at LSU. If he turns out to be what you guys think he can be and project to being one of those kind of guys, are you committing to building your defense around him? Because you did not show that level of commitment to L'Jarius Sneed. You did not show that level of commitment to Trent McDuffie. Are you prepared to do that for Mansour Delane? We have to see how the next 4 years play themselves out. We got time to take your phone calls. We'll take phone calls all day. We'll read text all day. Rob disagrees with the pick. That should come as a shock to no one. We got a lot to discuss on today's show. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Hey, it's Gold, and right now I'm driving the new 2026 Ford Mustang Mach-E. It's a fully electric vehicle, saving some money on the high gas prices right now. And over at Shawnee Mission Ford, Ford has announced a great way for you to get that dream vehicle. $399 lease payments on Mustang EcoBoost, Bronco Sport Big Bend, or $499 lease payments on a Mustang GT or an Explorer Active. Get that vehicle of your dreams for only $399 or $499 a month, plus a $500 gas card on top of that. Shawnee Mission Ford is on a mission to do more in 26. $999 down payment plus tax and fees for 36 months and 10,500 miles a year.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Did your HVAC struggle through this rough winter? When it comes to your home comfort, trust the local experts at Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, means you get safe, reliable service and peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Get ready, Kansas City! Harris is giving you the chance to drive away in a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Big Bend. Earn entries now through May 2nd just by playing your favorite games. Want even better odds? Every Tuesday in April, score double entries to boost your chances. Then join us May 2nd for the big drawing. Adventure is calling. Will you answer? Only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm Mark Solinger, producer and one of the hosts of the Moth podcast. For nearly 2 decades, the Moth has brought live storytelling to stages around the world and to millions of listeners. These are real people telling true stories from their lives. Stories about a lost family recipe, about working to free a wrongfully convicted man, about realizing you need to leave your May-December romance. Stories that will move you, surprise you, make you laugh. Stories you can't forget. Join us. Follow and listen to the Moth wherever you get your podcasts.
Odyssey Sports Draft coverage is presented nationally by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and lock in your picks before the game begins. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in select states only. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right. There's a couple of things that I would like to get to. I promise you we'll get to all of these things. I want to wait to give Rob the chance to answer for this because I have heard a lot of people say this. C-Dot, it's the process, not the player. Mahomes is a force multiplier, and it signals that the team is not optimizing for that upside when they may never draft that high again. We're also good at developing mid-round corners. Now, I'm not saying that the Chiefs are not good at developing mid-round corners. I would suggest that cornerback is a position that you can spend multiple draft picks on. And if you think Delane has a chance to be a star, you do not find star corners in the mid-round. Jalen Watson's a good player. He's not a star. L'Jarius Sneed was a good corner. He was not a star. You want to know how I know? He was available in free agency, and you got a future mid-round pick for him. So I understand that the Chiefs are really good at developing mid-round corners. They've done fantastic at it. They have not drafted a potential star at the position. They have, in their eyes, that's exactly what they've done with this pick. Now, Rob wants to talk about the process. I really care about the player. That's what makes these sports conversations so fun. This is what I want to talk about before we open up the phone lines, before we read text. We're talking draft all day. I'm not worried about the Royals who don't plan on scoring today. This is the one part of this conversation that makes me want to rip out my hair. I saw a tweet from a fellow sports talk host. I'm only reading it because I imagine he has the same opinion that many of you have, and I don't want to scroll through the text line. Did Kansas City just trade up and give up a lot to take a guy who would have been there at 9? Let me read to you James Palmer of NFL Network, and then I'll give you my commentary. From friend of the show, the Chiefs had Delane as a top 5 player on their board, and Veach felt that the Saints, who are usually aggressive, were eyeing their corner, so they needed to jump ahead of the Saints. Cornerbacks are hard to find in Kansas City's eyes, and they got the top one to be cornerback one on day one. Everybody knew that Delane was going early. I believe, now this is Carrington, not James Palmer. I believe that Washington was very interested in Delane. I believe that New Orleans was very interested. Kansas City was picking behind both of those individuals. So you can either move up to go get a guy that you think is a top 5 player in this draft class, or you can let the board fall how it may. Now, you guys know my philosophy. I think that we, as a fan base, as football fans, overvalue draft picks to some extent. And if you got your heart set on a guy, go get him. And if it works, no one is going to remember that you traded the 74th overall pick if Mansour Delane turns out to be Patrick Surtain II and is considered to be the best corner in the league. So go get your guy. This is the argument that I have that really, really makes me want to rip my hair out. So I'm on social media going back and forth. I wouldn't call them arguments. They're just sports conversations. We don't have to see everything the exact same way. And a sentiment on Twitter, a sentiment at Brooksider, a sentiment on the text line is, well, he would have been there at 9. What is that based on? I'm not asking that to be condescending. I'm not asking this to reflect that you don't know ball. I'm asking you, if you are arguing the value of a player and that he would have been there at 9, other than mock drafts, what are you basing that opinion on? When you really think about it, think about this. I want you to consider something you probably never considered before. Did you know that we spend as much time looking at mock drafts as we spend watching the NFL regular season? Think about when the Chiefs' regular season ended, even if you want to go by the actual end date and not the hypothetical when Patrick Mahomes got hurt. We have been looking at mock drafts for 4 months. How long's the NFL regular season? It's 4 months. For 4 months, you have been looking at Reuben Bain being mocked to the Chiefs. For 4 months, you have been having conversations about, are they going to draft an offensive tackle? For 4 months, we have been having these conversations every single day. You've probably looked at hundreds of mock drafts. The value in a player is only defined by how the NFL thinks, not what Daniel Jeremiah thinks, not what Mel Kiper thinks. I just think a lot of times that we argue, oh, well, this player was good value. Based on what? We understand value in a tangible money sense, in a commerce sense. You understand if tomorrow somebody offers you a 75-inch television for $100 and it was a Samsung, oh, that's great value because you have an understanding of what that product costs. The only way that we can determine what something costs in the NFL draft is when they actually get drafted. So I keep hearing great value, terrible value. Again, it blows my mind. Other than Matt Miller's opinion and Dane Brugler, how are we assessing the value that you get in a draft pick other than can the person play or not play? Is it possible that the Chiefs overdrafted Travis Kelce? Honestly, if we go back in time, is it possible that people thought Travis Kelce could be a 5th-round pick, but they drafted him in the 3rd round? You want to know why you don't care about that? Because it worked. I'm sure there's some people that thought some players the Chiefs drafted were going to go undrafted. I mean, why'd you use a draft pick on that player? Because their opinion doesn't matter. This is not me telling you the Chiefs can't be right or wrong. Teams can absolutely be right or wrong. But I have gone crazy hearing people say, well, they could have got him at 9. Based on what? The people that do this for a living, the reporters, the people that this is their job, this is their livelihood, they have been telling us now for 14 hours, that's a wrong opinion. They would not have got him with the 9th overall pick because he was going to be off the board with the 9th overall pick. Washington was going to take him. The Saints were going to take him, and the Chiefs are going to have to go to their plan B. The Chiefs determined they were not going to do their plan B. They wanted their plan A. I'm not mad at that philosophy. They got their plan A in free agency. They got one of their plan A's in the NFL draft. I feel like the Chiefs have had a pretty decent offseason, honestly. Now, Rob, I want to open the door. I want to give you some time. I don't want to just spend all 4 hours with me rambling. I want to take some phone calls, 913-586-7965. We can read your text as well. You do not like this selection, and you are on the side of it is about the process and not the player. The floor is yours.
I do want the record to show I think Mansour Delane is a good player, and he's a position of value that both me and you think is one of the 5 most important positions in the NFL. So I actually have no beef with the player himself. My beef's with the process. And it's with the process for 2 major reasons. 1, you know how I value draft picks. You know that I treat them like gold coins. You only get so many of them. I might be different than some fans, but I really value draft picks. And to give up 3, which is what it costs to go up 3 spots, seems like too high of a price to pay, in my opinion, unless you are getting a quarterback, which obviously the Chiefs didn't need. So I, first and foremost, like the process because I think the price was too steep for the move they made. That's first and foremost. My second problem with the process is this. I do not believe corner is this team's biggest problem. I do not believe corner was the team's biggest problem last year. I don't believe it's their biggest problem going into this year. I don't believe that position is their biggest need. So to use that value,
I want to give you time. Yeah, I want to give you time to finish. I think that's a flawed way of evaluating the draft. I do. I think it's a flawed way of evaluating it.
Taking a top 10 pick on a top need of the team? That's how I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong.
I know, but I'm saying is, to me, corner is also a need. It's not like you don't think corner is not a need for the team. You just might not have corner as the number 1 need on the team. But we agree that secondary is a need for the team, and they took the player that everybody, it's not just Kansas City shares this opinion. Everybody in this draft class think they got the absolute best player at that position. There is no other position on the field where that was a possibility other than with corner. They were not getting Carnell Tate. We know that now. It'd been great if they had got Carnell Tate. They were not getting him. If you wanted them to go get David Bailey, they were never in position to go get David Bailey. We can have the conversation about Arvell Reese. But if the Giants say, no, we're not trading with you, or if the Giants say, sure, we'll give you one, but we want 29, and you say, no, you know what, you can go ahead and have them. The only position group, in my opinion, with how the board fell, that the Chiefs had a chance to walk away saying, we have the absolute best prospect at this position was at corner. So I don't disagree with you in theory. I do not think that cornerback was their number 1 need, but it's not that cornerback wasn't a need. And I also think that cornerback is one of the 5 most important positions on the field. So that's just one of the places that I disagree with you on in just roster building.
And that's fine. I just feel like if you were going to give up a king's ransom, this is just me and you differ, and I still think 3 picks is a king's ransom. I know we're going to argue about what's the 3rd round pick value. Yesterday you were telling me 74 is gone. That you were right. I don't know I would be hemorrhaging 3rd round picks for 3 spots for a position where I feel like the Chiefs could have survived and advanced. I think they could have taken, I know the kid got hurt, the Tennessee kid, McCoy.
Yeah.
They could have been okay. They had Chris Johnson, who's projected to go early in tonight's draft from San Diego State. They could have drafted him. I just didn't think they needed to pay that price for that position. So if you're going to pay that price, it needs to be addressing your 1A, no doubt, biggest issue. Now, clearly the NFL doesn't like Ruben Bain as much as mock drafters did because he fell to 15. Like, that's obviously not where people thought he went.
But I don't want to get to Bain yet. I do want to keep that because a lot of things. This would be my analogy. Text line, tell me if you think this is wrong. This actually just happened to me. Probably about 3 weeks ago, I was laying down and I realized it's time for me to get a new mattress. I need a new mattress. This mattress isn't comfortable anymore. It doesn't make me feel good anymore. I need to go get a new mattress. So there's a mattress store not far from here. I'll shout them out. Mattress Mike. They were phenomenal people to me. I walk in there and I tell them, I think it's time. Now, I won't lie to you, and I don't even say this as a negative. The guy upsold me a better mattress than the one I was thinking about. I was sitting there looking at it, and I was like, you know what? That's pretty good value. You know the analogy is, you were trying to tell me to go get that McCoy kid. A good mattress. I would have slept well. It was certainly an upgrade over the mattress that I had that I've been sleeping on for years. That's what you were telling me. But you know what this man did? This man over at Mattress Mike walked me over to this other one. He said, but lay on this one. I was like, all right, all right. I laid down, and instantly I felt at home. It was a better mattress. So I was willing to spend the premium for something that is important, for something that is essential for my happiness. That's why, at least for me, I'm not going to be mad if you, quote, overpay for these kind of things. There's some things worth overpaying for. Overpaying for your mattress is a good thing. You got to lay on it every night for years. Overpaying at corner, if you're telling me he works. If he doesn't work, then what does it matter? If the guy ends up being terrible, then this conversation was for nothing anyway. They got awful value at 6, 9, 15. It doesn't matter where he would have fell to you because you got terrible value. But if you get it right, I promise you, we will never spend time 3 years from now. If this kid turns out to be an all-pro corner, we will not spend time thinking, man, you know what, man? I think they gave up a lot to get him. No, I just think that is a flawed logic that we have because we all overvalue draft picks. We say the same cliches every year about you want as many dart throws and it's a crapshoot and we say these same things every single year without acknowledging that this is a yes or no business. Did you succeed or not? Pass or fail? And I think for him, it's a very, very simple bar. Is he elite? If it's something that 2 years from now we got to debate if he's elite or not, then you did not do your job. You spend the 6th overall pick and you use 3 selections. You use the pick that you obviously use, and then you use 2 other selections. If you use all of those resources to go get a corner, he better be good. He better be good, and he better be good from the jump. I'm not having a conversation with you guys in November. Oh, he's a rookie. You're being hard on. Nah, man. Nah, he's a top 10 pick. You think he's a top 10 pick that played in the SEC last year. He should be day one ready to contribute. He should be their corner number 1. He should be a noticeable difference maker on the field. That's the standard that I'm holding him to.
I like your mattress analogy. I won't use Mattress Mike as the example here.
They were great.
I'll use Nebraska Furniture Mart to piggyback off your analogy. Here's why I'm frustrated with the process. I think the Chiefs needed a new mattress, for your example, and they went into Nebraska Furniture Mart, big box store, whatever, and they said, I need a new mattress. And while looking for a new mattress, they noticed, damn, that's a really nice dresser. I could use a better dresser. I'm already here, and they spent the money they had in their pocket instead of on mattress, which is why they walked into the store and they bought a dresser. Is it an improvement over what they had? Yes. Are you upset by having a nice dresser? Absolutely not. But you still have the same mattress problem at home, and the mattress problem isn't fixed. That's my concern, is you walked into the store with mattress money and you didn't walk out with a mattress, because all the stats indicate that you know where you don't get elite edge rush? 29, 40, or later. So you had the chance to get the edge rusher. We don't even use a name to it.
I'm saying, but let's use a name to it. Because this is the flaw in your point to me.
Also, you know, I would trade back just for
100%. But I'm saying this is the flaw in your point. What if they don't think Bain is that? We spent 4 months going back and forth about arm length. And you remember, I was saying this from the beginning. It's not a hindsight 2020 about him being a potential super anomaly, that nobody with his size arms went on to be the kind of player that people thought that he could potentially be, right? I've been saying that. This is not a Johnny-come-lately. This was in real-time opinion. What if that's the opinion that Brett Veach has? What if Brett Veach quietly said, we don't want Bain. We think this arm thing is real, and we're not drafting him. I would say it is clear, based on their board, they did not see Bain as a top 5 player in this year's draft class. And if their mindset is we got to go get top 5, I think it is now pretty easy to determine who the Chiefs think were the 5 best players in this year's draft class by just using deductive reasoning. They had to have loved Jeremiah Love, for example. Look at all the money they just spent at running back. They had to have loved Jeremiah Love, and it is obvious that when they went to the combine, they realized how high he was going to go in the NFL draft, and they made a different plan. I think it's safe to say Jeremiah Love was in their top 5. I think it's safe to say that David Bailey was also in their top 5. If you want to throw Mendoza in there, sure. I don't know how they felt about Mendoza. Maybe they didn't even look at him because they weren't drafting a quarterback anyway. So those are 2 guys that I don't think we have to argue about. We think those are guys in their top 5. They had to have loved Jeremiah Love. They had to have loved David Bailey. I think he was the best defensive player in this class. We know Delane is one of those. So now we have 3 out of them. We're now going with Arvell Reese is probably one of those other guys, and Carnell Tate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the guy that they think were the top 5 guys. If you got a top 10 pick and you felt like you walked away with this one of the 5 players on your board, I don't care what position that guy's plays. That's a win for you, especially when it is a position that you can instantly plug and play. We're not talking about he's sitting behind anybody. They got their number 1 corner. I know everybody loves Noel Williams. He's not their number 1 corner anymore. Christian Fulton couldn't get on the field last year. If you were telling me that for the next couple of years, they feel like they've got two of the best young corners in the league with Noah Williams and they got Mansour Delane, I think that's better than getting a dresser from Nebraska Furniture Mart.
That's fair. I also feel like part of the process here that I don't like is, do you think this kid's going to be better than Trent McDuffie? I'm not just a text
Me or them?
Clear they think so,
For sure.
But he actually has to end up being better than Trent McDuffie.
Agree.
Because I actually agree corner was a need. We can disagree on the level of need it was, and we don't see eye to eye on that, so it goes. But this was a need of their own making. They created corner as a need because on, I don't know when the last game of the year was, January 4th, whenever they played the Raiders in that last preseason game, corner was not really a high in need. They made this for themselves. The question now becomes, is Mansour Delane an all-pro? Because Trent McDuffie was, and if you trade up for a corner after trading a corner away and you got worse the position, that makes the process look so much worse. Now, I don't know if Delane's going to be better than Trent McDuffie. There's a chance. I mean, he's bigger, but Trent McDuffie's a lot more of a known commodity. So that's also part of the process to me that I don't like. You traded an all-pro only to sign a guy in the top 10. If he's not as good as your all-pro, you are a victim of your own circumstances that then led you to be worse at the position.
I don't disagree with you there. I don't even think we spend any time arguing about that. I'm with you.
And we won't know till we know, but
100%.
That's part of the thinking for me.
That's what I'm saying is, I guess one of the reasons, just as a sports talk host, I like this move is it's very cut and dry. It's super cut and dry. Far more cut and dry than I think the Peter Woods signing is. We all should be on the same page about Delane. We should not be on different pages about Delane. We all should be in the same point. With the amount of resources that they have spent on this player, they think he instantly becomes one of their best player. He is cornerback one, and they think he has a chance to grow and develop into one of the best corners in the National Football League. They have fallen over themselves in the last 12 hours to tell us how much Spags wanted him. Spags didn't want to bring him in because they didn't want to tip him off. They only wanted to talk to him on Zoom. Spags loves him. Now, once we get Dave Merritt's legal situation figured out and he's back to coaching this kid, if you believe in the talent, which it sounds like a lot of people believe in the talent, it's just the picks, it's just the process, all of those things. But remove any of that. If you believe in the talent that this kid is, there is no better situation in the NFL for you to reach your potential than in Kansas City. With that defensive back coach, with that defensive coordinator, with their history of the position, this is the best cornerback prospect that they potentially have gotten in our lifetime. Just based on where they drafted him, the people that are around him, this has the chance of being the best cornerback prospect the Chiefs have drafted, Rob, in the last 30 years or so. Now, you got to get it right, but I'm with you. If we're having this conversation in 2 years and you and I don't feel like he's better than Trent McDuffie, or we're hitting the barbecue chicken alert, oh, you know it's going to be barbecue chicken? Brett Veach. This is a grab your nuts, put all the chips in the middle of the table. This is a very confident move. If you guys wanted Veach to swing big, and I remember back in the day, it was in Veach we trust, this is as much confidence as they have ever shown in a player this side of Patrick Mahomes. Tell me the player that they have spent more draft capital, more resources, a more significant draft pick than the one that they got. They believe this kid can be a star based on how they are acting and where they drafted him. So let's see. If he's a star, they got it right. If they're wrong and terribly wrong, someone will get fired. It's that simple. Someone will get fired. Your general manager or your defensive coordinator or your defensive back coach, someone will get fired if this kid doesn't turn out to be what they think he can be. We got time to take your phone calls, 913-586-7965. Why don't we talk about Bain coming up at the top of the hour? Because everyone was going crazy about Ruben Bain. The NFL did not seem to share in that opinion about Ruben Bain. We'll get to that at the top of the hour. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
Tune in to hear the Hall of Fame voice of the Royals, Denny Matthews.
There's a high fly ball, deep left center. That goes Ward to the wall. Gone. Bobby Witt Jr.
Every Monday at 3, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $400 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $400 in bonus bets. That's just for getting started. When every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action. From player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back those stats up, you can head over to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips. You can check stats, trends, matchups, all in one location, all on the same app, so you can make your picks with confidence. Everything you need on America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't miss your shot. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel is the official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued to non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days on the street, which apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. Cause 30 told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and there's a lot of reasons why you should buy from us. How about being Google's highest review rated and your first maintenance is free? Every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. You'll fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
From north, central, south, the Balderston Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55-plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important, trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ah! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Oak Cliff Speed Test Intelligence Data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
In digital advertising, everyone talks about clicks. But clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your bottom line. Our AI-driven technology looks past the noise to find the customers most likely to buy your product. It's smarter, faster, and designed for real-world results. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
This afternoon, expect a sunny day with a high of 73.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right, we got 3 calls on hold. I promise you we'll take all 3 calls during this segment, and then we'll talk about Ruben Bain at the top. I always say that we don't block people on this show. I only block people for 3 reasons. I block you if you just spam the text line. Like if you just send a bunch of texts hoping I just stop. I can't read the other text. I'm sorry. If you say something racist or you say something homophobic, those are the only reasons I will block you. You can call me an idiot every single day. Some people do. I will not block you on the text line. If you are trying to talk about the Royals today on this show, or send a Royals-related text, Rob, that might be a blockable offense. C-Dot, are you going to talk about today's lineup for the Royals? How can Jack Caglione get better against lefties if he never faces them? Hey, don't talk to me about that today. Don't even talk to me about it on Monday. You know the next time we'll talk about the Royals on this show, Rob? After I get back from the Kentucky Derby. That's when we'll talk about the Royals. I don't have much interest in talking about them right now. We got way too much other stuff to talk about. Rob, I'm telling you, today and Monday, bringing up Royals topics might be a blockable offense. We had a 30-minute show meeting today. We never discussed the Royals. I don't even know who they're playing this weekend. No clue. I'm excited the Angels are in town. Oh, look at that, Rob. I had you fooled there. You didn't know I knew that. You didn't know I knew that Mike Trout was in town. You didn't know. All right, let's take these phone calls. 913-586-7965. Zach, you called into the show. How you doing, man?
Hey, doing good, C-Dot. Happy Friday, man.
You too, man.
I would have to argue that the Kentucky Derby is probably a lot more interesting than the Royals right now.
100%.
I won't even go there. But anywho, no. So with the draft picks last night, I walked away from that thinking about a point that you'd actually made earlier in the week. We're coming out of this not knowing or having a clue really what the front office was thinking, because I think like 99.9% of the fan base was committed to the fact that we were going to draft Ruben Bain, and we didn't. I anticipated it even with the trade up, but I'm anxious to see what they do going into the second round. I think it makes it a little bit more interesting because everything that I've seen and the mocks that I've done and other people have done, they were just kind of way off in left field. I hope we can add some more capital, especially in the receiver room, maybe try to trade up for an edge. I don't know, but thanks for taking my call, man, and have a good Friday.
Yeah, you too, man. I appreciate the phone call. That's the thing. So I was not following this part on Twitter. When I saw that the Chiefs were moving up, I looked at Rob and I said, oh, they went to go get Arvell Reese. I thought that's what they were going to do. And then I saw, no, the Giants got him. So I was like, well, who are they going to draft? I didn't know, honestly. And then I was like, oh, they're getting Delane. They must love the corner. That was my thing. We're not having this conversation today if they had traded up to go get Arvell Reese. Rob is doing backflips in the studio if that's what the exact same trade. If they had went to go get Arvell Reese, Rob would be telling you how they got a steal, how they got one over on the league, and the text line would be thrilled. I did say this, and I think out of this whole process, I mean, I've had a lot of opinions. This is the opinion I got most right. The only players that would be having a banner day would have been Carnell Tate and Ruben Bain. Chiefs fans had got it in their mind. These are our 2 biggest needs. Veach is going to swing big. He sees it the exact same way that we see it. We are taking this player. And when Bain was on the board and then they move up and then they go get this corner, and Chiefs fans, you know how it is. They think Chiefs fans look at cornerback the way the Broncos looked at running back in 2003. We can just get anybody to play corner, you know? We can get Olandis Gary. We can get Mike Anderson. We can get Quentin Griffin. That's how Chiefs fans look at corner. Wait, hold on. You're telling me they're spending premium picks on corner? Yeah, I'm telling you. The Chiefs fans very upset today. Let's go to the phone lines. Michael in Platte City wants to weigh in on this. Hey, Michael, how you doing, man?
Hey, C-Dot, how you doing now?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you calling in.
You bet. Thank you for taking my call. Hey, at first, my reaction to that pick, after the moves we made, I can't say I was a fan of it. Sitting here getting my wife involved in the draft. She's all excited about what we're going to do. And, my reaction was, well, you know what, this kid, he better get us some pick sixes and set us up inside the red zone. And then I was thinking, you know, what we spent on him, too bad he's not one of those double threat guys. You know how back in the day, Del Carter was that guy out of Tennessee, that kind of type. And then I'm going to have faith in this kid, though. And I'm going to trust our brain trust. And I'll listen off air. I appreciate it. And go Chiefs.
Yeah, for sure. This is the thing, and I'm not saying Michael said this. It's just as he was talking. I don't understand why we're not talking about Delane like he isn't a premier talent. He gave up 14 catches in the SEC last year. He didn't give up a touchdown last year in the SEC. He didn't commit a penalty last year in the SEC. Teams had a 33.1 quarterback rating against him. He wasn't just a good corner last year in college football. He was an All-American corner last year in college football. It's not like they got some ho-hum prospect that you're sitting there scratching your head like, what are you talking about? Some of you guys wanted them to go get Kenyon Sadiq, who was unproven in college. We're talking about a guy who was a proven commodity at one of the most important positions on the field, and we're acting like he was some rum-dum. Let's go back to the phone lines. I wasn't saying that Michael said that, but that was just my thought. We got another Michael calling into the show. We got all the Michaels on the show today. We're like Diana Rossini. Let's go to the phone lines. Michael in Chicago.
That's foul.
She has all the Michaels in her life. Her boyfriend's name was Michael, and her oldest son's name is Michael. I'm sorry. We got a lot of Michaels in our life. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
That's great. It's a great name, but I'm not touching that. Listen, I think a lot of us feel about this draft the way you'd feel about kissing your second cousin. It's action, but it's not the kind you're hoping for. Listen, I've said often that Veach is this draft, he's a great GM. He's not perfect. I think this draft has highlighted all of our hang-ups with him, okay? Did you know there was 5 awesome players in this draft? Because the problem with this draft is that there's a few good, really great players, potentially, and then a bunch of mid-level players. And we are outside that range to get the best ones in the draft, right? So if they were trading up for what I thought was the top 4 players in the draft, the 2 pass rushers, the receiver, or the running back, that would make sense. I didn't know this cornerback was one of those top 5 guys until this morning. I wake up and find out he was one of the 5 best players in the draft. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was that top-tier guy. That hadn't been out there. So I think a lot of us out here are, like, acclimating to the idea of this was like a Pat Surtain type player in this draft. We didn't know that. So we gave up in a draft of modest talent. We gave up the chance to draft a Kelsey in the 3rd round, a Tyreek Hill in the 5th round. Like, those are the chances. You need at-bats. Like, if you go look at that 2013 draft, that draft sucked, except for we got Travis Kelsey in the 3rd round. Why? Because we had the at-bats. And then the one that I really dislike, I really don't like the tackle draft. Veach loves to draft small little running backs that fit in your pocket, right? He loves to draft offensive linemen, and he loves to draft 6'2" defensive tackles who this one has a short arms. Didn't we just spend time talking about how the defensive end isn't any good, Bain, because he's got short arms, and now we're drafting a defensive tackle with short arms? Like, all the hangups we have about Veach and the way he goes about business, I think there are evidence here in the 1st round, and that's what we're struggling with today, at least what I am.
No, and that makes sense. I appreciate the phone call here. I mean, I'm looking at their draft. I mean, they still have the 4th round pick. I completely understand you get these guys with these picks and you hit and miss. I understand. I think a lot of this, honestly, it is a draft philosophy. I am on team take big swings. I'm on team take big swings in the draft. I think a lot of times when we talk about draft, people are just fine with just consistently hitting doubles. And I'm not saying that's not good. You don't win Super Bowls consistently hitting doubles. We saw the Chiefs build a dynasty. They did not build a dynasty off just hitting doubles. They built a dynasty off drafting stars, developing stars. That's how they did it. If they are telling me they think this guy can be a star at the one position in which we know they are the best at developing, I'm willing to give them a chance. This is not a position that they are not familiar with. How do we get the most out of your ability? It's the best position they can when it comes to get the most out of your ability. I want to continue with what he just said. Let's talk about Ruben Bain, because I think there is one point in all of this that people are not being honest about. I'll explain what it is. Keep it right here, Mr. Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, the go-to show for dating advice you didn't ask for.
If you got to ask your girl to help on the bill on Valentine's Day, you've done something wrong.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5, The Fan. When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Whether you're commuting to work or heading out for a fast coffee break, getting an auto insurance quote is just a tap away. With AAA, you're always connected, so you can focus on the road ahead. Rest easy knowing AAA's got you covered, no matter where life takes you. AAA, we're always with you. To start your quote, visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Want a quieter, more enjoyable shooting experience? Centerfire Shooting Sports in Olathe is the #1 suppressor dealer in Kansas City. We make it easy for you to get your suppressor without the hassle. Need help? Our team of experts is here to walk you through the entire process. Come in today and learn more or go online to centerfireshootingsports.com. Centerfire Shooting Sports, Kansas City's one-stop shop for all your suppressor needs.
This is one of my favorite calendar, and FanDuel is celebrating it right. Fit boosts to bonus bets and more. The best part of this is it's every single day. All you need to do is head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. I absolutely love the NBA playoffs. I'm talking of every day, every night. Incredible basketball played at the highest level by the biggest stars in the game. So it doesn't matter if it's a buzzer beater or it's a series sweep. They got you covered over on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. So whether you're betting the early game or you're getting ready for the prime time, make sure that you open up the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLE.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
JR & Company offers a lifetime workmanship warranty on every residential roof. Why? Because our roofers are that good. Kinda makes you wonder about the other guys. JR & Company. Home of the free online storm check at jrstormcheck.com.
What's up, fools? Main event Jey Uso here from the WWE. When it's just me between matches, it's day one-ish. And that means it's Chumba time. With hundreds of casino-style games and new titles arriving weekly, there's always something fresh to try at Chumba Casino. The daily boosts make it even more fun. And have me about to get them all during my downtime. Ready for a fun way to chill out and enjoy a few minutes for yourself? Let's chump.
Sponsored by BGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in the state where it's legal to play.
The U.S. Treasury just released its official financial report for 2025. Buried in it is a startling admission. By its own numbers, it appears the U.S. government is insolvent. When governments go this deep in debt, they print money, raise taxes, or cut benefits, none of which can help protect you. That's why people move part of their savings into physical gold and silver. Call Monetary Gold at 877-NOW-GOLD for their complimentary gold and silver guide. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. Do it before the next headline, not after. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking.
Trading the jacket for flip-flops? Start your sun-soaked getaway stress-free with Park & Go. All covered parking keeps your car cool and protected while you're catching rays. Quick shuttle straight to the terminal. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned, customer approved.
draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here or wherever you are, that's the benefit of Blue. If you're looking for more NFL draft coverage, go subscribe and follow the Character Concerns podcast with Bink and Chris on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
I remember now what I was going to say. I always try to write things down while the show is going so I don't forget. The gentleman that we just had on, salute to him, Mike in Chicago. He mentioned that no one had said about Mansour being top 5. This is what I was saying earlier. The Chiefs board is the only one that matters. Not Dane Brugler's board, not Mel Kiper's board. Now, the Chiefs could be lying. It's not like they're going to show us the entire board. The Chiefs are telling us that they had Mansour Delane as a top 5 player in this year's draft. Now, I'm inclined to believe them just because the feelings on this draft were so mixed. Some people love Jordan Tyson. Some people had him off the board because of the injury. I thought Mekhi Lemon was going to go a little bit higher than he did. He ends up going 20 to the Eagles. I think the sentiments on this draft class were so everywhere that it's not outside the realm of possibility that, hey, maybe the Chiefs didn't like Ruben Bain nearly as much as we were led to believe that they did. And through this entire process, they had their top 5. They were committed to getting one of the players that they had in their top 5. They executed their plan. I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility that this happened. I do want to answer this text, Rob, before we talk about Ruben Bain and where I think fans are being a little bit dishonest. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, I know we don't know what's going to happen with Dave Merritt. Do you think that played into this at all? Maybe our secret weapon isn't going to be on the staff anymore, and he's what makes our corners excel. Dave Merritt was released yesterday on ROR and a $2,500 bond. Dave Merritt ain't going nowhere. This is not a serious thing. Now, I don't know what happened. We don't know all the backstory, but for the police in Johnson County to let you go for $2,500 and ROR and let you go back home, something tells me you're not getting fired from work. I would guess that Dave Merritt is at work right now. Where else would you be? It's draft day. You need to be in the war room. Hey, I got to get to work. So I would be surprised unless there is a massive shift. But this sounds like a relatively small issue in an NFL sense. I don't think that Dave Merritt is losing his job because of this. One, he's very good at his job, so it usually takes a lot for you to get fired when you're very good at your job. But I don't think anything is going to happen with the Dave Merritt situation. So that's one part of it. This is what I want to talk about with Ruben Bain. This is where I think people are being dishonest. And maybe this is me and I'm inserting my own personal experience too much into this take. But we were all at the Brooksider yesterday. Again, phenomenal day. Had a great day at the Brooksider. Rob, you were there. There was not a lot of enthusiasm for the pick. It was not that roar. There was not this, yes. I mean, I was there last year when Josh Simmons got selected. People were excited that they got Josh Simmons. I didn't really get a sense of excitement for the Mansour Delane pick. Would you guys have felt that way if they had drafted Ruben Bain? Because I think people would have been excited about Ruben Bain. If you had got that bottom line, that breaking news sounder, that the Chiefs had moved up and they had got Ruben Bain, and then Brett Veach did a press conference. We love Bain. We think he's one of the best defensive players in this draft class. We know he can get to the quarterback. Oh, my goodness, the text line would be going crazy. Veach is back. We're winning the division. I told you guys Veach would get it right. On one side, you cannot argue with me about value and Mansour Delane and that you overpaid when, based on what I'm saying, you would have overpaid for the 15th overall pick. No one in the top 10 thought Ruben Bain was one of those guys. There was no rush to go get Ruben Bain. There was a rush to go get Mansour Delane. Washington wanted him. The Saints wanted him. Kansas City obviously wanted him. So there was a competition. There was a market. You had to be aggressive. You had to be assertive to go up and go get him. On one breath, you cannot argue with me about the process and value and how you spent too much on a player that was coveted in the top 10 when, conversely, you would have been excited about them now by definition overpaying. I know what I said earlier about value and value being hypothetical. The value is not hypothetical when it comes to Ruben Bain. I saw where he got drafted. He was the 15th overall pick. So if you think that you overspent for Mansour Delane, you got to tell me what you think an overpay would have been for the 15th overall pick. Because what the Chiefs gave up, they used 9, so they move up from 9 to 6. They gave up 74, and they gave up another pick. Some of you would have done that for the 15th overall pick. You would have paid 170 cents on the dollar for Ruben Bain, which in theory would have been a bad trade. But that is a move that today, if the Chiefs made and they were championing that move and not this move, people would be excited. And I think that's a little bit unfair, in my opinion, of Mansour Delane.
That's probably fair. And you know what? I will credit you for this point. I'm here every day. You had said the only thing that'll get Chiefs fans excited is what? And we were going through the names. You're arguing, hey, will player X get them excited? Will player Y get them excited? Having sat at the Brooksider, I thought Mansour Delane was one of those players that could have maybe gotten Chiefs fans excited. The bar was not excited. It actually, I wouldn't say it was upset, but there was a wave of quiet hit the Brooksider after he was picked. I do think fans were kind of, because of mock drafts, because of whatever, honed in on Bain or bust. And I think when it busted in that analogy, fans were going to be down on almost any pick.
You would have been down on it too. You wanted them to go get Bain too. Now, in hindsight, when you're talking about pass rush, that's the guy that you are talking about. Sure. Yeah, Reese. But I guess with Reese, and I don't know, but I'm just based on how it played, the Giants don't have to trade with Kansas City, or in a monopoly sense. You play Monopoly, right, Rob? There's a property that you don't want to give up, but you're willing to give it up. But, I'm going to tax you for something that you really want. Oh, you want these 2 railroads? Well, give me $1,000 and give me those 2 properties. No, I'm not giving you that. That's not how much they're worth. Like, what if the Giants did that? Sure, we'll give you Arvell Reese, but we want 9 and 29 for you to move up here and go get Arvell Reese. Are you willing to go do that? I'm assuming the answer was no, that you're not willing to go do that. So, hey, you keep them. Hey, we want Reese, but if you are just willing to make us an offer that we can't refuse, we're happy to have that conversation. Because I am guessing, and this is just a pure speculation on my part, I'm guessing the Chiefs made that offer that they made to go get Mansour Delane. I'm guessing they made that exact same offer to the Giants. I'm just guessing. I'm guessing that they offered the Giants the exact same thing. Hey, you guys can come down to 9. We'll give you 74. We'll give you an additional pick for your troubles. And I'm assuming that the Giants, I'm not assuming, we know this. The Giants said no. Because if you were willing to move up to 6, why would you not be willing to move up to 5 when in theory you were getting another player that you had in your top 5? There's no reason to think that Arvell Reese was not out of their top 5. I think that is well known now at this point. So if the Giants weren't trading Arvell Reese and there was only one player left that you had in your top 5, the Chiefs did what they had to do to go get him.
It's also possible, for the analogy, the Chiefs called the Giants, and the Giants had no interest in moving out of that pick. Like, maybe they didn't offer the Giants that pick because the Giants had had turned the phone on silent and said, we're not moving. We have Arvell Reese. We're like, sometimes teams don't want to trade. They just are excited to take their player. So we don't know what happened behind the scenes. We'll never know. I mean, I think we actually can I think we can reasonably deduce what happened behind the scenes. If you were the Chiefs and you were willing to move up to 6, there was no reason not to call the Giants and consider moving up to 5 if you liked Arvell Reese. So at least find out what the cost was. The Giants may have said there is no cost. We're taking Reese.
For
we're
sure.
done. Like hung up on. We don't know.
That's what I'm saying is if Reese is off the board and the Chiefs, based on they say that they got one of their top 5 players, and you and I can deduce based on their actions who they would deem to be a top 5 pick. Jeremiah Love was in their top 5. David Bailey was in their top 5. Mansour Delane was in their top 5. I'm assuming Mendoza was in their top 5. Arvell Reese was in their top 5. Carnell Tate. Maybe they didn't have Mendoza and they had Tate in there. If all of those guys that I mentioned are off the board and you got your last chance to take a prospect that you absolutely love, I'm just never going to be mad at them for taking that player. And I do think a lot of it was just analysis by paralysis. And what you just said, it was Bain or bust for a lot of people. Pass rush is our biggest need. I saw this guy in the college football playoff. He was a beast. He dominated. We need that. Come to Kansas City. And that's why I mentioned it to kick off this segment. If the Chiefs had made the exact same trade for Ruben Bain, the exact same trade, nothing different about it, I think today Chiefs fans will be considering this an A+ draft oh man, we completely retooled our defensive line. We got Bain, we got Peter Woods, we still got Karlaftis, we still got Chris Jones. Oh, we're going to have one of the best D-lines in the NFL. That would be the sentiment on the text line today. And maybe you would have been right if they had drafted Bain. I just want to point out, if you think that Delane was an overpay, and we do know that there was a market for him with Washington and New Orleans, Bain went 15th overall. So even if you had got him at 6, even if you had got him at 9, by your definition, they would have overpaid for Bain. So just something to keep in mind, something to note with him, something to note. I think the arm length thing was a much bigger thing than Chiefs fans want to realize. Because if you wanted Bain, you had a chance to go get him. We could not be having this conversation. The Chiefs could have kept all their picks. They could have drafted Ruben Bain there. They'd have been doing high fives and backflips in there. That they got Bain. They got their pass rusher. You kept the 74th overall pick. They had a chance to get Bain. They said no to him. And we didn't think there was any chance they were going to say no to Bain. I think they're going to let the board fall, and their worst-case scenario was taking Bain. They were not interested in worst-case scenario. They were interested in, we're going to go get one of our guys. And that's exactly what they did. Coming up on the other side, we spent a lot of time talking about the 9th or the 6th overall pick. Let's talk a little bit about them going to get Peter Woods at 29. We got time to take some phone calls here, 913-586-7965. We don't have a guest on the show until 4:30. Mitch Holtis is going to be on the show. So if you want to call up, now's the perfect time to do it. We'll continue to read your text, and we'll talk about Peter Woods on the other side. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Liberty Mutual customized this song for you. Like your car insurance, it's custom too, yeah. Liberty Mutual's got the coverage that could save you money. Thanks to Doug and Limu, well now you can go and take that cruise. Liberty, 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 yeah.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Taking a look at the pro football futures market following round 1 of the draft. Dallas to make the playoffs, no -125, yes +105. And I love that price for yes for Dallas to make the playoffs. And I like Dallas +230 right now to win the division. Dallas kept its star receiver signing the franchise tag. I think that is a huge deal. And I love Dallas's 2 first-round selections on defense, stud safety from Ohio State, pass rusher from UCF. I love it for Dallas. Dallas going to be a playoff team this season in pro football. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. 0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
Get ready, Kansas City! Harris is giving you the chance to drive away in a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Big Bend. Earn entries now through May 2nd just by playing your favorite games. Want even better odds? Every Tuesday in April, score double entries to boost your chances. Then join us May 2nd for the big drawing. Adventure is calling. Will you answer? Only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law, 816-888-7500. Mike's got this, and we've got a crash 50 westbound at 291 Highway. The southbound exit right lane is blocked. Big backups in the area. A crash in Blue Springs, 70 westbound at 470, and then another 70 eastbound just past Sterling. Now, that one's in the clearing stages, but still a few minutes to unwind. Downbound with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about Peter Woods. I think the Mansour Delane selection is just much more interesting as a sports radio topic, but Chiefs did draft 2 first-round picks yesterday. Let's talk about the other one. I don't say this as a knock, but I think that fans generally don't have an understanding of snap counts and how much guys play and don't play. And I get it. That's just not really something that you would spend your time looking at. I do spend my time looking at things. It's kind of my job. But I think that fans have a general lack of understanding of how much defensive linemen actually rotate in and out, because you don't see it in the same way that it happens in basketball, for example. Let me give you a point to reiterate this. Seattle last year probably had the second best defensive line in the National Football League. Maybe you want to say that Houston was number 1. Seattle, obviously very, very good. It was really the foundation of their defense. Rob, did you know that they only had 2 defensive linemen play more than 50% of the snaps for them last year? Think about how good Seattle's defense was last season. They only had 2 defensive linemen play more than 50% of the snaps. Now, they had a lot of really good players that played 30, played 40, but you really need about 5 or 6 really good defensive linemen. When you think about it, over half of your team is offensive linemen, defensive linemen, sprinkled in with a little bit of wide receiver. That's almost 50% of your roster. So now going back to defensive line, you can never talk to me about it not being a need or, well, last year we got this guy. Well, both of them can play. So a sentiment that I saw with Peter Woods was, well, last year you got Omar and Norman Lott. Okay, you now have both of them. Football happens. Guys get injured. A player gets rolled up on. A guy misses some time. It's not just depth to me like starters versus non-starters. There are heavy impact guys that are obviously going to play a lot. Karlaftis is going to get a lot of snaps. Chris Jones is going to get a lot of snaps. But outside of your top 1, 2, maybe 3 defensive linemen, it's just going to be a rotation of a lot of guys that play somewhere between 35 and 55% of the snaps on your defense. So even though I don't think that defensive tackle was their biggest need on the board, you taking good, productive defensive linemen that impact the game, that can rush the quarterback a little bit, that can stop the run, that can really force things with the defensive line, I'm just very rarely going to have too much of an issue with it. What I actually found the most interesting about the Peter Woods is who they didn't get as opposed to who they got. Back-to-back picks after they selected Peter Woods. They could have got a wide receiver right there. The Omar Cooper kid from Indiana went right after him. You could have got the wide receiver if you wanted to. We wouldn't be having the worry about the wide receiver room. Hey, they spent another first-round pick on a wide receiver. This is Rashee Rice's replacement. He was a very good college player who played on a very visible team. They won the national championship. He was sitting right there. The Chiefs they decided to go in a different direction. They also had a chance to get the pass rusher. They had a chance to get that Falk kid out of Auburn. Now, they could still get a pass rusher today. Let's see how the board falls, and we can get to 40 here coming up in a bit. But I actually find the Peter Woods move more interesting over who they didn't get and what that means and tracking if they're right or wrong over the next couple of years as opposed to really breaking down who they got.
First and foremost, I 1,000% agree about the average fan views snap counts on defensive line different. You can expand beyond Seattle. Denver was a great defensive line last year. Denver was not, we play our starting 4 100% of snaps. They had rotation guys. The Texans, the best defense in the NFL. It was not Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter play 100% of the snaps and this is our starting 4.
The Broncos actually, just to answer your question, the Broncos only had one defensive lineman that played more than 50% of the snaps last year.
I'm betting, I haven't looked at the numbers. I'm betting for the Texans. The Texans are probably in the same category, maybe a little different because Will Anderson, and he's such a high-end talent, but this is just what you do at defensive line. I actually like the Peter Woods pick, and I know you're more interested in who they didn't take. I like the Peter Woods pick for this reason. The Chiefs appear to have found the heir apparent to Chris Jones at 29. Like, we can be honest about Chris Jones. He had one of the worst years of his career last year, which makes sense.
You also saved $19 million after this season if he is no longer on the roster.
You can cut, you can eject. He's coming off a bad season. Defensive tackles don't age like wine. They age like milk in the sun. So I think Peter Woods makes sense. You work him into the rotation this year. He, Norman Lott, Tonga, Jones. That's a great rotation this year. You then save $19 million in about a year by cutting Chris Jones, and then your rotation is Norman Lott, Peter Woods, and Tonga still. You're in a pretty good spot. It was weird. I didn't dislike either player the Chiefs picked. I just liked the process for Peter Woods a lot more like the process. But the player itself is a good pick for the Chiefs at the back end of the first round.
Yeah, I agree with this. CDOT, the Chiefs told you what they think of their roster and what matters to them. Let's talk about the second half of that because I 100% agree. Let me focus in on this. This is why I think you're 100% right. Look at what they've done with their defense. Offensively, the Chiefs haven't really done a whole lot on offense. They got Kenneth Walker. That was kind of it. They got Kenneth Walker. That was their ta-da on offense. They didn't have a run game. They magically went out there and got a run game. But their offensive line is going to be the same as last year. for the most part, if they don't draft a wide receiver at 40, and that's why I'm saying we'll get to it, if they don't draft a wide receiver at 40, their wide receiver room is done for the most part. Their offense is largely done for the most part. There is not another draft pick contribution that I think you can count on in their offense if they do not take an offensive player with the 40th overall pick. I am not going into next season expecting pick 104 to help them on offense. That's usually not how this works. Now, flip that same conversation, Rob, over to the defensive side. It's almost like they have a new defense for next year. Khyiris Tonga. You didn't really have Omar Norman-Lott last year. I know he was not a new player, but I mean he played in less than a third of the games last year. He is kind of a new player for them. Ashton Gelati, who really didn't get going to the second half of the season, maybe the last third of the season. So somewhat new, fresh pieces. So you got Tonga, you got Ashton Gelati, you got Norman-Lott. Noel Williams is now going to be a major part of this year's team. Mansour Delane's going to be. I mean, they've almost completely retooled their secondary on the fly with Noel Williams, Alohi Gilman, Mansour Delane, and Kader Kohu to be the linchpins of their defense and of their secondary. They did not really completely redecorate their offense. They have almost overnight completely changed their defense and got a lot younger and a lot cheaper. Look at the group of 20-somethings they have on their defense now. Now, we'll see how good they can be, and I got the same questions that you have, Rob, of who's going to get to the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I agree with you. That is still a question that they need to ask, but they have gotten much younger and much deeper on their defensive line, and they have completely started over with their secondary heading into next season.
As you were saying that, two things rang in my head. Number one, I believe it was the last time we had Mitch Holthus on the show. It was for the regular season. What did he say about Seattle's defense? It's a lot of guys who are in their mid-20s, and they are dominant because of it. And he said, maybe it was at the Combine, but I remember Mitch saying this, you need more 20-somethings on your defense. That you need that. The Chiefs this offseason have done exactly the Mitch Holthus plan on defense. They revitalized it with young players at all three levels. Like I assume at some point they're taking a linebacker tonight, tomorrow, so all three levels. The other thing, as you said that rang in my mind is Andy Reid at his press conference recently was asked, hey, what do you think about your scheme? Cody and Gold asked Louis Riddick about if, it's stale. Everyone over One Arrowhead Drive or connected to One Arrowhead Drive is adamant. Now, is that a problem? Andy's reinvigorated. Andy's not worried about the scheme. And the game hasn't passed Andy by. Don't worry about Andy. The offense is fine. That has been the Chiefs' core philosophy this offseason. Revitalize the defense, make it young. Don't worry, we're good on offense. I don't know that's the best plan in the world, but that's basically how they have operated. They have made one move on offense. One. Haven't added an offensive lineman. They haven't added another wide receiver. They have made one from outside the family because Tyquan Thornton doesn't count, and it's Kenneth Walker. They're telling you, we trust Andy, and we got to fix this part.
I would also say, if you want to have the offensive conversation, it also is all of the answers are here in-house. Maybe, this is just me spitballing, maybe, I know that fans now feel differently about some of these guys. What if the Chiefs don't? Because 6 months ago, the text line was convinced that Rashee Rice was a top 10 receiver in the National Football League. What if the Chiefs still feel that way? 6 months ago, people were telling me that they had a Pro Bowl left tackle. The Pro Bowl left tackle played in less than half of the offensive snaps. What if the offensive improvement for Kansas City is quite simply being able to locate where Josh Simmons is and he plays 15 games for them next year at left tackle, and that's still not a revolving door over there? What if the improvement is you go from being one of the bottom 5 rush attacks in the National Football League to being the 11th best rush attack? What if the improvement for the Chiefs offense is their star wide receiver can keep his hands to himself, and their star wide receiver can wear a seatbelt and practice safe traffic laws? What if that's the improvement to the offense? Where on defense last year, they couldn't get to the other team's quarterback, they couldn't consistently get stops, and they couldn't force turnovers. I think they needed much more work and much more of a transformation on the defense in terms of getting back to being an elite championship level defense. I think most of the components are there for the offense to be there. I'm not sure if that was the case on defense.
I agree that is their actions, and that's how they're operating. They like Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy more than me, you, in the text line. I think Josh Simmons is, or they think more highly of Josh Simmons than you do. You're kind of down on Josh Simmons, more so than me, at least.
I'm not down.
You're just not as high as everyone else is. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
The point that I made on Josh Simmons is I think everybody has put him as an exclamation point when I think he is still a question mark.
That's fair.
He just didn't play enough last year, and I think we are treating it like, hey, man, in those 5-6 games that he was there, he was phenomenal. I guess. I mean, he was all right in those games. I guess people are talking about him with a measure of certainty that I don't have. That's a fair point.
That's a better way to say it. So let me ask you this, because I think we can kind of see the Chiefs' plan. We won't know the answer until they actually start playing football games in 5 months. Do you think the plan is good, though? Because I still have questions about this offense. I don't think Kenneth Walker and Emery DeMarcado are the cure-all and a cleanse for a bad offense. Because let's be honest, the offense was bad last year. Some of that is clearly they're blaming on the offensive coordinator, but Mahomes had a bad statistical season. Rashee Rice, he had his suspension. Xavier Worthy regressed. Travis Kelce, another okay year by his own standards, good by tight end standards, okay by his, and they had offensive line issues all year. They are telling you, don't worry, just once we get better running backs, we're fine. Do you think that is a smart game plan? Because to date, they haven't done anything other than just say, trust our guys, which, and real quick, isn't that what the Royals were telling us 3 months ago? And
yeah, I don't want to put them in. I understand the point you're making.
There's a comparison there.
I guess I would counter with this is, you guys were super excited that Eric Bieniemy was back. Why were you excited Eric Bieniemy was back? Weren't you excited Eric Bieniemy was back because he was going to start holding guys accountable and that he was going to get the most out of guys? Isn't that what I was told? So if you're now more and more I'm thinking about it, Eric Bieniemy was the fix. That's what everybody was telling me. When I sat here and I said, hey, I'm not that fond of this move. I don't like this move. Everybody kept telling me we love it. We love it. Our offense is going to come back. Isn't that the plan then? Their plan seems to me is we got the band back together. And Eric Bieniemy is going to come in here. He's going to straighten up the run game. This team's going to be more disciplined. This team's going to commit fewer penalties. Guys are going to know their roles and responsibility, and guys are going to act accordingly. Where on the other side of the football, there seems to be we need to reset and get younger. That's what it appears. We need to reset and get younger. Noah Williams, rookie contract. Delane, rookie contract. A lot of cheap contracts, a lot of rookie contracts, a lot of guys between the ages of 24 and 26, sprinkled in with a little bit of youth that their defense, I could see, maybe gets off to a little bit of a slow start, but in Chiefs' usual fashion, didn't really happen last year. Once you get to October, November, and guys start to kind of know their role a little bit, you can see a transformation with the defense. I want to make this point really quickly because it's related to pass rush since we're talking about the defense. I think today they're going to tell us what their biggest need is left. They have the 40th overall pick, right? After the 40th overall pick, they don't really have another selection that you would deem to be in an impact zone or another position where if you draft a guy, the expectation is to start. I don't know who they're drafting today with the 40th overall pick, but I'm telling you, he needs to start for them next season. If you got 3 top 40 picks, that guy needs to be on the field. That guy needs to be a part of your rotation. He needs to be a key cog in the machine of what you are trying to do. You can't solve every problem with the 40th overall pick. You can only select one player. Are they going to go edge rusher and scratch your itch? Are they going to go wide receiver and give Patrick Mahomes more weapons? This will be a very big insight into what they think is important and what they don't think is important. Because I would say based on their actions, they don't see wide receiver the same way that you and I see wide receiver. They haven't really done anything this offseason that would lead you to believe that they deem wide receiver to be a very serious priority. In free agency, they didn't do anything but bring back Tyquan Thornton. You had a chance to get a wide receiver yesterday in Omar Cooper. You chose not to get him. So I don't know if there's any reason to think they're taking a wide receiver or they feel wide receiver is a very, very strong need. But I will tell you, based on the moves they've made so far, they think their defense needed a reset. They think their defense needed to start over. Look at their moves in free agency, aside from getting Kenneth Walker. Look at the draft capital they've spent so far on the defense. They've used 4 picks for 2 defensive players. They have invested pretty heavily into their defense. What if that trend continues? So that's why I say is they are going to tell us based on their actions, where they think the biggest needs are with the team. Is a need wide receiver? And do they feel like we got to get a wide receiver right now that can help us next year and also we can develop for the future? Or are they going to continue the theme and try to retool this defense?
Could offensive line be in play today at 40? Because I know Brett Veach last night during his press conference was all hardy har har. O-line was all smoke screen. Don't worry about that. I fooled you guys. Gotcha. But, I mean, they do need a swing tackle. They have historically taken guys on day 2 of the NFL draft that are offensive linemen. Kingsley was a day 2 pick. Wanya Morris was a second day pick. Like, that is offensive line one of the positions that could be they targeting. And I know that pre-draft press conference, he said basically after 35, offensive line kind of falls off a cliff. Like, is offensive line going to be a thing that they're maybe targeting in 40? And if they go offensive line, does that mean that they feel good at both receiver and edge? Because both those positions are not, we found impacted round 4 guys.
They have to feel that way. Now, maybe they're waiting. Like, the text line's making a good point at wide receiver. Maybe they just want Tyreek Hill. And we're going to wait until August and we're going to sign Tyreek Hill so we don't feel the need to go draft somebody right now. Maybe the Chiefs are looking at a market inefficiency and they're going to go get Jawan Jennings, who, shockingly enough, is still available. Isn't Brandon Ayuk still available? Is he still on the Niners? What happened with Brandon Ayuk?
Is he available to play football?
I'm just saying, I feel like Brandon Ayuk could be had if you really wanted to go get him. I'm just saying is they have options at wide receiver. Everybody loved Rashee Rice 8 months ago, and he is as healthy as he's been in the last 3 seasons, and he has no legal issues that are hovering over him. And it's a contract year. You should get the absolute best version. If you love Chad O'Shea and you still think that Xavier Worthy has some ability, you have now put him in a situation to succeed. They can run the football now, you would expect, with Eric Bieniemy and Kenneth Walker. Maybe they just don't see wide receiver as this need that you gotta go get. Maybe they just don't see it that way. We'll find out with 40 because 40 is going to tell us it. I don't care if they draft a wide receiver with the 104th overall pick. I'm not counting on that guy to start for next year. You guys might love him for sure. They'll draft some 4th round pick from Utah State or Georgia State, and everybody will love him. And okay, great. I'm not counting on that guy helping them in 2026. That guy has never helped them in 2026. That mid-round wide receiver, that Cornell Powell, that guy never helps them.
Jalen Royals?
I'm not counting on that guy to be a help. If you draft him at 40, absolutely. That guy needs to be a part of what they're doing.
Let me ask you this. To the text line's point about Tyreek Hill. That same thing can be applied to Cam Jordan, too.
1,000%.
Those are very 2026 moves. Are the Chiefs going to use this next pick for 2026, or are they going to use it for 2027? Because, and me and you don't just see it the same way, I view Peter Woods as helping 26, but he's really going to take off in 27 because that's when Chris Jones is off the roster. If they aren't taking receiver or edge, and they go O-line at 40, and their plan is, we're bringing Tyreek Hill and Cam Jordan, are they kind of screwed on 2027 and beyond because they don't have long-term plans of those positions, especially wide receiver, when Rashee Rice is definitely one and done in Kansas City in this upcoming season?
I hear what you're saying. I guess maybe this is just like we have kind of treated wide receiver like if you draft a wide receiver, that guy can't help you for 18 months, even though we all watch the NFL and I see wide receivers able to help pretty quickly. Like when it comes to things, like I see guys being able to help you. So I'm with you. Like someone on the text line says, Ceda, I think it's hard to guess the pick. They'll have a list of their 8 best and they'll take the highest on the board. Not sure how much need plays into the decision. I guess I would just say they have needs at so many different places that I think you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If they got a safety with the 40th overall pick, I wouldn't be mad. If they got a wide receiver with the 40th overall pick, if they got a defensive edge rusher with the 40th overall pick, like there's so many different directions that I think they could go. If they took the kid from Vanderbilt, the tight end from Vanderbilt with the 40th overall pick, that also wouldn't upset me. I thought he was a very, very good college player. You get him, you got a 2 tight end set, and you have a natural transition. Basically the same logic people told me when they wanted Kenyon Sadiq. If they ended up getting Eli Stowers out of Vanderbilt with the 40th overall pick, I'm not sure where he's projected to go, but just that mentality of a pick, I also wouldn't be mad at it. I don't think the Chiefs feel like they have to pigeonhole themselves to any specific thing, but I think just based on the picks that they have, 40 is the last impact rookie that you can count on. And anything else that you get from the rookie class after 40, you got to count as just found money. If you get a major contribution from your 6th round pick, then great. That's phenomenal. That's usually not what you are expecting from rookie players, though.
And I know, I agree with you that rookies, other systems tend to thrive. Historically, or at least of late, Andy Reid rookies are extra slow on the uptick. Like, they redshirt FAU. So I do agree with you. This is the last pick tonight, which could be at 6:15, 6:30, where it's like, oh, there's a day one impact type of guy, which is circling back why I wasn't a proponent of trading 70, because that guy could have also been that for the team.
Yeah, for sure. And someone on the text line says, CDOT, he essentially told us he either wanted Carnell Tate or Delane. He's looking to add a wide receiver. I'm just not really sure if that's the case, because they had a chance to get a wide receiver at the back half of the first round, and they didn't do it. They had a chance to get Omar Cooper, who I think has a chance of being a very good wide receiver. They didn't do it. So I don't know how big of a need wide receiver is. Yeah, maybe they wanted the absolute best wide receiver in the draft class. If we can get him, sure. I don't know how they feel about other wide receivers in this draft class, and that's why I say 40. We'll find out where they are. Let's talk more about Cam Jordan coming up on the other side. I think the actions of yesterday now make him more of a need than they were before. We'll discuss it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $400 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $400 in bonus bets. That's just for getting started. When every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action. From player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back those stats up, you can head over to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips. You can check stats, trends, matchups, all in one location, all on the same app, so you can make your picks with confidence. Everything you need on America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't miss your shot. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel is the official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued to non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days on street, which apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Rob Side Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Rob Side Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Rob Side Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Rob Side Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here for Renner Garage Door, America's oldest family-owned garage door company, serving both wholesale and retail markets. Free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door.
RENNER. 96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a crash near Shawnee just south of their 35, southbound at 67th. It's going to be blocking the left lane downtown. Still dealing with this crash. It's the right lane blocked. Big backup. 71 northbound as you approach 70. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, let's talk about Cam Jordan. I also want to read this text. We'll take some phone calls at the top of the hour. We can also continue to read the text line, 913-586-7965. C-Dot, are we thinking that if this draft doesn't pan out for Veach, that he is on the hot seat? Absolutely. I would say that they doubled down on that pressure and expectation with the move to go get Delane. Now, I don't dislike the pick. I support the pick. I understand the pick. I wish they had maybe traded a little bit more to go up and get Arvell Reese, but maybe that was not a possibility. But I don't have any problem with them going to get Mansour Delane. I don't have any problem with them giving up what they did. But if you were going to move up from 9 to 6 and give up the resources to go get that player, he needs to be phenomenal. And if he is not phenomenal, I still think you keep your job if he's not phenomenal. If Mansour Delane is a bust, Brett Veach is on the hot seat. You're not on the hot seat for the Peter Woods signing. Like, you miss at 29, right? It's a 50-50 coin flip. I can give you 29th picks that have worked. I can give you 29th picks that have failed. If you draft a corner in the top 10, you think that he is a star. You think he can be Jalen Ramsey. You think he can be Sauce Gardner. You think he can be Derek Stingley. So, yeah, if they're off on Delane and way off, and also they're not winning, yeah, Brett Veach is on the hot seat. That's just how this game works, for sure. Let's talk about Cam Jordan. Now, I'm starting to get a sense that you guys are coming around. I've really gotten a lot of things right this offseason. That's okay. You know what? I'll continue to give you this show free of charge. I'm not even going to charge you for these correct opinions I've been giving out. But, Rob, you remember when I said I was interested in Cam Jordan and the overwhelming sentiment is he's old, he's old, he's old. Why would we want him? Well, now that we sit here, you're going to tell me, Rob, that one of the worst things they can do is go get Cam Jordan on a 1-year deal? That's what you're telling me? That's one of the worst things they can do? Because I don't think that's one of the worst things they can do. I've always been in favor of them going out and spending a 1-year deal to go get Cam Jordan. He was still a very productive player last year. He had 10.5 sacks. He's clearly going to either go back to New Orleans, which you can't do anything about that. He's only played in one city his entire NFL career. Or if he's going to shop himself around and go play for a contending team, why is Kansas City not an option for that? He'd be an immediate upgrade over what they have at the position. He could absolutely help them. And there's a role for him on this team. So I remember when this opinion was laughed at, when it was mocked, when people scoffed at me. I now see the board turning around, and a lot of people are coming around to, what if with the 40th overall pick, they go get Zion Young, the talented edge rusher out of Missouri, and then they throw Cam Jordan in the mix? That is attacking your issue of pass rusher, and that gives you a very solid plan for 2026 and beyond.
Here's my thing with Cam Jordan. Can I see what they do tonight at 40 before I make a decision on Cam Jordan? Because they take Zion Young, or who's the kid, Gabe Jackas tonight at 40. Yeah. Like one of the edge rushers, TJ Parker, pick a guy. If they take him at 40, then I'm still team no on Cam Jordan. They don't need him if they take an edge rusher at 40. But if they take an offensive lineman or a receiver at 40, if they take, the Chris Johnson kid or whatever his name is from Louisville at receiver, then I think you kind of have to sign Cam Jordan. I still wouldn't love it that your edge rushers are George Karlaftis coming off a bad season, Chris Jones, who is aging, and Cam Jordan, who has a walker. I don't know. I'd love that. But if they don't draft a rusher at 40, I think you've kind of backed yourself into you have to sign Cam Jordan. Or if there's a Cam Jordan type in free agency, like I don't know who else is there. We'll just use him as the name. But if they take an edge rusher at 40, I will stand firm. No on the old man. But if they don't take one at 40, I think they're kind of forced into taking Cam Jordan because you can't have George Karlaftis, Ashton Gelati, and vibes. That can't be your edge rush plan. It just can't be.
No, I completely agree. I would also say that throwing another rookie in there, I would want more of those individuals. There are some things to me you can never have too many. You can never have too many good defensive line. You can never have too many good corners. You can never have too many guys that shown you an ability to get to the other team's quarterback. So that's why if you go get Peter Woods and you think he can be a very productive defensive lineman, I'm not mad at that. If that's what you think's the best interest, if that's what you want to attack, if you want to solidify the trenches, if you want to go out there and you want to get a very talented pass rusher, I'm also not going to be mad at that plan at all.
I just think it all, to what your point, all comes down to 40. Because I understand your point about veteran pass rusher, but I feel much better about the edge rush if it's pick a name at 40. Peter Woods is a rotational guy. Omar Norman Lott. Chris Jones can kick out. George Karlaftis and Gelati. That's not a bad, and pick number 40. That's not a bad defensive line rotation. It's young. It's hungry. I'm all in on that. But if you don't take an edge rusher at 40, then you kind of have to take Cam Jordan. But it sounds like you are, no matter what happens tonight at 40, you want Cam Jordan on the Chiefs sooner rather than later.
Yes.
I don't think he wants to do training camp, so I think it's going to be later rather than
that's fine. I mean, I don't really care when he joins the team, but as long as, well, can he get here? I mean, I understand you don't want to do training camp. There's a lot of things you don't want to do. That's your job. Can you show up on August 9th? Can you show up at August 9th ready to work? Ready to go to St. Joe? I mean, if I'm a millionaire, you know where I wouldn't want to stay? A dorm at Missouri Western University. But that's the job. So, yeah, show up. What would you be mad at 40? There really isn't anything I'd be mad at. That's within reason. There's nothing I'd be mad at. I think anything is on the board.
I think I'd be frustrated by some more positions than you would.
Yeah, of course.
I think there's more positions you'd be frustrated with than you're leading on, though.
What are they? Let's go through them.
I think if they took a corner, I'd be frustrated.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
Okay? I'm not saying corner's not important, but I don't think you need a fifth one. I think you're good. I think you have enough. Safety, I think me and you feel the same way. You're fine there.
Yeah, you can take one.
I'd be fine taking one. Linebacker, I just don't value the position that way.
I wouldn't be thrilled if that's what they did.
Yep, I agree.
I wouldn't be thrilled, but I think the text line makes a good point. If they took McCoy with the 40th overall pick and they had him as a first-round value, but because of the injuries he moved, and you feel like you got two corners, so let's say this would be the analogy. If you feel like you got Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell and you got that level of corners to build your defense around, great, if that's the case. Like someone on the text line said, C-Dot, you mentioned a few times today building a defense around Delane. When was the last time a defense built around cornerbacks went deep in the playoffs? I would argue the Eagles. The Eagles spent 2 premium picks on corners and built their defense. Now, you have to get other things correct.
I'd actually argue the Eagles built theirs on D-line. But
For sure, of course. But
they had both.
We're playing 6 in one hand. They built their defense around taking 3 or 4 really good, young, impactful defensive players. That's what they did. So we say that. I mean, Seattle has an all-pro corner on their team that they drafted with a top 10 overall pick. Now, yes, the guys that get the sacks are the ones that get talked about, but Devon Witherspoon, and we can talk about corners that have gone in the top 10, was on last year's team. He is their corner number 1. He is an all-pro corner. A lot of teams build their defense around having the ability to stop the ball. You can't just do it with one great defensive player. No, you need a bunch of different guys, but I just saw the impact that Christian Gonzalez had. He was a first-round pick. People loved Gonzalez coming out, and he showed you in the Super Bowl why he was worthy of using a first-round pick on. If that's what Delane turns out to be, that guy that I saw play in the Super Bowl, if that's the kind of corner the Chiefs got, he will absolutely live up to being the 6th overall pick. Let's talk about that. I'll give you guys the list of corners who have been selected in the top 10. If that's who the Chiefs got, they got a good one. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers, it's what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
We've got a crash near Shawnee to south of their 35, southbound at 67th. It's going to be blocking the left lane downtown. Still dealing with this crash. It's the right lane blocked. Big backup. 71 northbound as you approach 70. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5, The Fan.
Replacing your HVAC doesn't have to be an emergency. Plan now, pay less later. For a limited time, take advantage of an HVAC replacement with financing starting as low as $149 a month. More options, better timing, and less stress for your home.
Odyssey Sports Draft coverage is presented nationally by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and lock in your picks before the game begins. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in select states only.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah, and now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news! Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Taking a look at the Pro Football Futures market following round one of the draft, Dallas to make the playoffs, no minus 125, yes plus 105. And I love that price for yes for Dallas to make the playoffs, and I like Dallas plus 230 right now to win the division. Dallas kept its star receiver signing the franchise tag. I think that is a huge deal, and I love Dallas's 2 first-round selections on defense, stud safety from Ohio State, pass rusher from UCF. I love it for Dallas. Dallas going to be a playoff team this season in pro football. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Introducing Bluebell Pro, a dessert with up to 12 grams of protein and 110 calories or less per serving. Low fat, no added sugars, and gluten-free. Dig into a pint. It's more than just protein. It's Bluebell Pro. Never has high protein tasted so good.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream in your local grocer. If you can't find it, ask for it.
Royals coverage is brought to you by the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill. Game day starts here.
Kick off your weekend early at the Brooksider. Thursday night reverse happy hour means great deals and even better vibes. Grab your crew, grab a drink, and stay for the game. Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill. Game day starts here.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here. So this hour is going to be a little bit different. Coming up at 4:30, Mitch Holthus is going to join us on the show. We'll do a full interview with Mitch Holthus. We'll have a full 25 minutes. We'll kind of move the clock around a little bit in the 4 o'clock hour. So Mitch Holthus is going to be on the show coming up in 30 minutes. All right, let me read to you a list of names. This is the list. These are the last 6 cornerbacks who have been selected in the top 10 of the NFL draft. This is over the last 10 years. So it's not a lot. It's not a lot of corners that get picked in the top 10. You obviously know about Mansour Delane. Devon Witherspoon. Might be wondering, who is he? He is the number 1 corner for the Seahawks. He has been a Pro Bowl player every year he has been in the league. He has made All-Pro a couple of times since he has been in the league. He's pretty good. In 2022, there were 2 corners that were selected in the top 10. Derek Stingley is one of them, and Sauce Gardner was the other corner. I think everyone would be happy if that's what Mansour Delane turns out to be. If he turns out to be Derek Stingley or Sauce Gardner, I think you're pretty happy with it. Jeff Okudah, who actually I think was a good player, but just couldn't stay healthy. He got hurt basically at every single turn, then kind of hopped around. I mean, that would be a fail. I mean, what are we arguing here? The guy would be a bust. The last player would be Denzel Ward. So over the last 10 drafts, there have been 6 corners who have gone in the top 10. Delane, Witherspoon, Stingley, Sauce, Jeff Okudah, and Denzel Ward. If he turns out to be any of those corners other than Jeff Okudah, I think you are happy. If you were telling me they drafted Denzel Ward with the 6th overall pick, you need to be thrilled about it. He's one of the top players in the league. He's a very, very good corner. If they got Derek Stingley, who I think is the 2nd best corner in the league behind Patrick Surtain, I think you are thrilled if that's what he turns out to be. If he turns out to be Sauce Gardner, you are very happy about what he is. If he turns out to be Witherspoon, a very, very good player, a guy worthy of a 2nd contract, a guy that can cover, a guy that can do a lot of things. That's why I say with this pick, I don't understand the negativity towards the pick or the outrage about the pick for this reason. We are talking about a very talented corner who is being drafted to one of the ideal systems and scheme to get the most out of your ability. Everybody is telling me how good the Chiefs are at corner. They just got the best corner in the draft. Look at what they've done with the third corner in the draft. Look at what they've done with the 7th ranked corner in the draft. Look at what they've done with the 10th ranked corner in the draft. What if you give them a former All-American type? A guy that can do just about anything. You need him to play on the outside, he can. If you need him to play on the inside, you need him to, whatever you need Delane to do, he did that at LSU at an incredibly high level. I made the analogy earlier. I'll make it again. Chiefs fans are starting to treat corner the way Broncos fans treated running back in the late 90s, early 2000s. You remember that stretch where the Broncos just felt like they could get anybody to play running back? Well, we did it with this guy. Let's just continue to do it. You got Quinn. Imagine if the Broncos had spent like the 9th overall pick on a running back. Imagine if they put a guy like McCoy into that offense. Imagine what they could have done. So I'm looking at it with Delane. You're telling me they got a former All-American and you're going to place him into that defense with Dave Merritt and with Steve Spagnuolo. I'm at least intrigued by the possibility. We were having the conversation right before the break about what teams build their defense around corners. If you're telling me that the Chiefs defense could be more like Denver's defense, where you have an all-pro corner at the center of a lot of things you do, and then you start to add the pass rushing around it, that's the foundation for a championship level defense.
I will say this, though. I don't think Chiefs fans are wrong to say, hey, Brett Veach can find corners anywhere. He has literally done it and paid none of them. For your Bronco running back analogy, the Broncos did at one time in that run dedicate a big asset to running back. Remember, they drafted Clinton Portis. Then what'd they do? They traded away Clinton Portis. They got Champ Bailey, which that trade in hindsight is just hilarious. But that's not the point. That's what the Chiefs have been doing, and they've been wildly successful doing it. He found L'Jarius Sneed in the middle to late rounds. He found Charvarius Ward as a trade for a now out-of-the-league guard. He found insert player X as a guy off the scrap heap. He has done that so often, and I think Chiefs fans think to themselves, if you can do that, why would you waste a top 10 pick on a thing we know you can do? Like, if the Chiefs didn't draft Delane, and at 40 this year took a cornerback, Chiefs fans will believe that guy's going to be a good cornerback because Brett Veach's track record is, if I draft them, they will be good. So I don't think it's crazy for fans to say, wait, why are you doing this in the top 10 when we know you can do this other places? We've seen you do it other places time after time after time.
Yeah, and I guess, and someone was missing from this list. I should have double-checked the list. Patrick Surtain is also on this list as well. He was the 9th overall pick. J.C. Horn.
Makes the list better.
J.C. Horn is also on this list, too. Another guy that's really, really good. Usually, if you're the number 1 corner selected, people think that you are going to be very, very good if that's the case. I would just continue to make the point. You can also take those players. I think one of the flaws that we have, and I understand it because you have a limited amount of pick. You can't draft 3 corners and 3 defensive linemen. Like, I think one of the things that have kind of got them to this wide receiver crisis that they have is they only take 1 swing at wide receiver. Well, this year we're going to take our 1 wide receiver. Then we'll do it. No, keep peppering the board at certain positions. I'm not saying it's quarterback because obviously you keep taking swings at quarterback. But, Rob, I feel like quarterback is the only position group that people are just resigned to the fact of keep drafting, keep drafting, keep drafting, keep drafting. Cornerback isn't one of those. Your team is going to go up against 600 passes over an NFL season. Being fully equipped for that is a bad thing. Or in that same vein, talking about pass rush, the other team is going to drop back to pass 600 times against your team. So having guys that can get after the other team's quarterback. So again, I understand you don't get an infinite amount of picks. You can't solve everything. But drafting good players at certain positions, impact positions, you can just never get me that mad about when it comes to. You need those kind of guys. You need all the corners you can get, all the defensive edge rushers that you can get. You need all of those guys.
I agree, but I think to the text line's point, Brett Veach has found on those guys all over the draft.
He has never found a star.
Trent McDuffie was a star.
Trent McDuffie is a good player. He is not a star.
Trent McDuffie's an all-pro. We're not doing this. Trent McDuffie was an all-pro corner.
I'm not saying he's not a. He's a good player.
He's the highest paid corner in the league. He's a star.
Trent McDuffie is a good.
Jalen Watson's a good player. Trent McDuffie's a star.
You think Trent McDuffie's on the same level as Patrick Surtain? Because I would say Patrick Surtain won Defensive Player of the Year. That is a star in my mind. Again, I'm not saying that Trent McDuffie's not a great player. I think they have drafted one very good corner, and they have drafted a handful of good corners. I think Kansas City has always overvalued L'Jarius Sneed for what he is. Jalen Watson is a fine. They've drafted good players. If you were telling me with the 6th overall pick, based on the history of the kind of guys that they are, Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn, Jalen Ramsey, I'm talking about these are the guys that go top 10. That is a star corner to me. I'm talking based on where they drafted him. They think that Delane has a chance to wear the belt of the heavyweight title of the best corner in the world. Remember when Nnamdi Asomugha had that? Remember when Josh Norman had that? They think Delane has a chance to wear that. Like right now, you would say that Patrick Surtain has it, right? Surtain's the best corner in the league. We all feel that way. Stingley's right behind him. They think that Delane can be that kind of player. And by the way, all I'm saying is we've never looked at McDuffie as being one of those kind of guys.
McDuffie's third on that list, though. Like you mentioned, J.C. Horn. McDuffie and J.C. Horn, they're the same. Like if the Chiefs had kept Trent McDuffie, it's a J.C. Horn type. I understand they're different body types, the whole deal. Trent McDuffie is what, the second or third best corner in the league? That's a star at that position. Like. I know he's gone now, but Trent McDuffie is not. Calling him a good player is undervaluing what he did in Kansas City.
I think right now that you and I are arguing the difference between being a 1 and an ace.
Probably.
I think he is a 1, but not an ace. Where I think that they think that Delane can be an ace. They think he can be doesn't matter the series, we can put him on the mound kind of player. And that's what I'm saying is, if you were telling me that, then go be it. Go be that guy then. That's what drafting a corner at number 6 and especially moving up to go get him, that's what it signifies to me.
I agree. Now, he's got to be held to that standard. He not only needs to be better than McDuffie, he needs to be a Stingley Surtain star. If we can disagree on if McDuffie's a star, but he can't be Jalen Watson may be unfair. He can't be just a really solid corner in the NFL. He needs to be an absolute dog if you're going to give up these assets and take him in the top 10.
We can continue to talk about this. 913-586-7965. We got Mitch Holtis joining the show coming up at the bottom of the hour. Certainly a lot to talk to him about. There's a lot happening right now. We're breaking down the NFL draft. A friend made a point to me about what he thinks the Chiefs could do today that I think is a really good point. I'll tell you what it is next. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
In a field of thousands, one has emerged. Back from the brink, now poised to take its rightful place amongst the greatest lawns of all time. It's the birth of a true turf champion, and a story that will live on at summer barbecues and in neighborhood group chats for all time. Your lawn is back, baby, and it's Weedman for the win. Go to weedman.com, enter promo code GREEN, and get one free service.
Hey, it's Gold, and right now I'm driving the new 2026 Ford Mustang Mach-E. It's a fully electric vehicle, saving some money on the high gas prices right now. And over at Shawnee Mission Ford, Ford has announced a great way for you to get that dream vehicle. $399 lease payments on Mustang EcoBoost, Bronco Sport Big Bend, or $499 lease payments on a Mustang GT or an Explorer Active. Get that vehicle of your dreams for only $399 or $499 a month, plus a $500 gas card on top of that. Shawnee Mission Ford is on a mission to do more in 26. $999 down payment plus tax and fees for 36 months and 10,500 miles a year.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come see us in store. Shane Company engagement rings are crafted with care from our hands to yours. Because a friend wants your ring to be nothing short of perfect. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
CertaPro Painters recently painted my home and exceeded my expectations. I booked a free estimate, reviewed a detailed proposal, and scheduled my project on the spot. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're partnering with trusted local professionals with over 70,000 five-star reviews. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We're talking special drops you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. And the best part, it's every single day. So head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. Here's how I'm handling the daily happy hour. I open the app, see what's available, and suss out. Maybe it's a profit boost on a player point total. Maybe it's a bonus bet, and I'll take a big swing and try to make some mega money and keep that bonus bet in my back pocket. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for prime time, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. So go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel is an official partner of the NBA and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
Royals coverage on The Fan, sponsored by Salvation Army Kick Hunger Civic Lunch on May 7th. Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026 May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a big problem, Independence. 435 northbound closed right now, just past 23rd, while they do crash cleanup, that is. In Overland Park, new crash, 35 northbound past 95th in the right lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
You know what? I like this here. We got a nice little 1-2 punch coming up. In about 15 minutes, Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, is going to join us on the show. But right now, calling in, Peter Burns. He is with SEC Network. He also is a big LSU fan. You know that matters because with the 6th overall pick, the Chiefs select Mansour Delane out of LSU. Peter, how you doing, my man? Appreciate you calling in.
Buddy, once again, I mean, from Clyde Edwards-Helaire to Honey Badger, I'm sitting there going, all right, I got a little Chiefs in me now. I mean, when seeing Delane go out there and then obviously the trade made, I'm like, this is you guys got to end up stud over there coming up to Kansas City.
Peter, I'm just going to tell you, mentioning Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round, that's not a way to get this interview going in Kansas City.
Hey, I will say this. As an LSU fan, though, 2019 will forever live in our hearts. So, you know, how he worked in the offense and stuff like that might be a little bit different, but still to this day, man, there's been – it's interesting because, you know, like the Eagles have had this, like, you know, this kind of like pipeline to Georgia players, and now we've seen a couple of Chiefs, Chiefs players that were played their college ball over down in Baton Rouge.
So you cover the SEC for SEC Network. You love LSU. You're a perfect person to give us insight on Mansour Delane. What kind of player is he?
Delane's just one of these guys that I think kind of lived up to where, you know, when you watch Derek Stingley Jr. And the success he had as a freshman at LSU of just kind of like, hey, like if you go down here, they can develop you. When I talked to Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator, he basically said, I never had to worry about that side of the field. Like, as long as Mansour was there, like, we knew there was a blanket and I could focus and I can shade my defense over on the other side that needed help. And I mean, from the get-go, I think people wanted to test him early, and they showed him, hey, listen, this is not just, a couple of good tape that he showed at Virginia Tech or, one or two games, that this was a consistent lockdown corner. And you think about that division that the Chiefs are in, or really just the NFL guys, the way it is, such a passing league now, to be able to have that right from the jump is a game changer right now, and that's what Delane was. I mean, I talked to other coordinators in the SEC that said it's a wasted down if we throw in his direction right now because we can't figure the kid out on how to break receivers open from him.
Right now, we're talking to Peter Burns with SEC Network. He also covers and cheers for LSU, so a great person to get his thoughts on Mansour Delane. We were just talking about this right before you came on, and the difference in being an ace and a number one starter in baseball. Do you think that Delane has a chance to be an ace? Do you think he has a chance to be a Jalen Ramsey, a Derek Stingley, a Patrick Surtain kind of corner, or do you think he's just a number one starter type?
No, I mean, I think that is all about the development that the Chiefs are going to put him in, right? Because I know that whenever he was at Virginia Tech, he was going to be looked at by a lot of people, and he wanted to come out there and he wanted to put in the work at LSU. And they in essence, they kind of challenged him, going, listen, I mean, we've had Patrick Peterson, we've had Tyrann Mathieu, we've had a bunch of really good secondary players right now. Our reputation of DBU can't slouch. We can't have a kid that's going to come in here with an attitude. And he never had that attitude. And so I think that was the most impressive thing, is that he had success at Virginia Tech, could have gone anywhere, but wanted to develop his game under Blake Baker, and they put him in a position to do it. So, again, I'd love to tell you that, hey, man, I think this is going to be the next Champ Bailey that's out there, in this first, this Hall of Fame guy. I do know you're getting a good kid with a good work ethic and basically a blanket that no SEC offensive coordinator, including Lane Kiffin, wanted to pick on last year. And I think that's a pretty damn good hat tip to him.
You know that we sports talk folks, we love a good player comparison. Is there a corner that Delane reminds you of?
I mean, again, I go back to Derek Stingley, and the only reason why I say that is because, when I go back and watch Stingley, it was like there was just a feel for the ball, and I think that's a lost art. You know what I mean? How many times as a fan we get pissed off when we see something like no one's paying attention to where the ball was. And so, for him, not only could he play a little bump and run, but he had this kind of innate feeling of being able to read a wide receiver's eyes and their movements to know, all right, this wide receiver just made this break. That means I need to turn around and the ball's going to be there. So I think it's an instinct thing. It's also a reaction time. But you've got to have your guy that's going to be a cornerback to play in the NFL to basically be a coach, to know exactly what the offense is going to do. And I think that's probably the biggest credit I can give to Delane, is that Mansour was always that guy that was able to do it in frankly, a defense that was underperforming outside of him.
I'll get you out of here with this last question. A lot has been made about the compensation that Kansas City used. They used the 9th pick, 74th pick, and 148 to move up to 6 to go get Delane. Do you think they overpaid for him?
I mean, 74, 111, or whatever it was doesn't mean jack squat if you got the guy that you wanted, because it signals that this is a guy that we needed, that we were willing to do that. Because trust me, I can't remember how many times I've seen guys pick 70-something, 116, and it looked great on paper, and it looked great in the draft points, and they didn't amount to jack squat. So, again, if you got the guy that you wanted, that's going to get this defense rolling. And it's also a credit to Mansour of like, hey, man, like, you weren't just a guy that fell to somebody. Somebody went out there and drafted you, and I think that's why it's going to be a perfect fit for the Chiefs.
I'll actually get you out of here with this last question. You're the last person we're going to ask this to during this draft cycle. Let's say that you were the Las Vegas Raiders, and you had the number 1 overall pick, and we were doing a condiment draft. What would your number 1 overall pick be? My producer, who you just talked to, he had Ranch as his number 1 overall pick.
Ooh.
I picked Louisiana hot sauce just because I think it's all purpose. I think it can do a lot of things. What would your number 1 condiment pick be?
See, again, I'm going regional, and I'm going Raising Cane sauce with the chicken fingers. That's probably my number 1. But if that's too regional, Polynesian Chick-fil-A sauce might be my number 1. Again, it's not a solid left tackle like Ranch or anything like that. It's not, but it's a little flashy. But the Polynesian sauce, chef's kiss.
That is Peter Burns joining us on the show. He is with SEC Network. He also cheers for LSU, and the Chiefs, they had another LSU first-round pick. They draft Mansour Delane with the 6th overall pick. Peter, great stuff, man. I know you're busy getting ready for the draft, man. Appreciate your time.
Later, boys.
Absolutely. That is Peter Burns joining us on the show. Coming up on the other side, let's keep the good times rolling. Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, is going to be on the show. There's a lot to get his opinion on. We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here. So drive.
Your off-season home for everything Chiefs football.
Talking about the top story, the Chiefs, they have a new offensive coordinator.
96.5, The Fan.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I went to Staples for a custom printed graduation banner and invites and saw that Party City is now at Staples.
Wait, what?
Party City is now at Staples.
So now Staples has balloons?
Yep.
Decorations?
Yes.
Streamers, cups, table covers?
Yep, Staples has everything for a party. And now buy 2 get 1 free on select foil balloons.
Holy confetti! So the best parties start at Staples.
That was easy.
In 613 select stores, exclusions apply. In-store or buy online. Pick up in-store only.
Some days, self-care starts with Nature-Made gummy vitamins, a deep breath, and a little encouragement.
Mom, I'm really nervous.
Me too, honey, but we've got this. Repeat after me. I'm gonna have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day.
I choose joy no matter what comes my way.
I bring joy wherever I go.
Quality gummy vitamins from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Expect mostly clear skies tonight with a low of 49.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America NA, member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm, American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a closure in Independence 435 northbound. It is closed just past 23rd. You're going to have to bail off here. But they say in the next few minutes it should be cleared because it has been closed for crash cleanup for quite a while. Okay, downtown 71 northbound at 70. The right lane is blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Really excited to be joined by our next guest. But before we do that, let me remind you that our draft coverage right here on 96.5 The Fan has been presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shields of Kansas City. From here, from everywhere you are, that's the benefit of blue. Let's go to the phone lines right now to be joined by the legendary voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch Holtzis joins us on the show. Mitch, happy to talk draft with you today.
Oh, big time. A little sleep deprived, but excited. I just literally left Mansour Delane and was with him twice today for some conversation, and then we'll have him on the podcast later. But what an impressive cat. He is a really, really impressive dude. I'm so excited to get that guy. And when I watched his tape back in March, CDOT, I was, Austin Woodard, your Missouri Southern Lion brethren, a former number 72 offensive tackle who helps with my draft stuff. And to Matt McMullen, I said, this guy's really good. Like, if we get this guy, it'll be awesome. So we got him. And that's where I'll start. I'm just super excited about getting the best corner in this draft.
What jumped out to you when you met Delane? What jumped out to you when you watched him on tape?
That he reminded me, when I met him and his dad, it reminded me of when I met Trent McDuffie. And it blew me away. It's like having a job interview and you're going, this guy's special. He's super polished. He is a guy that seems very mature and ready to go. Like, he gets he wants to compete, but yet you're talking to a guy that could run a Fortune 500 company. That's what you get. That's what I got with McDuff, and I get it with this guy. I'm telling you, when you meet him and talk to him, you'll be impressed.
What jumps out on film when you watch him, just as a player?
Incredible press man defense. You can see where it's and he's aggressive. I guess that the Chiefs struggled last year with the third and long, and I've talked about that a lot. Talked about it with Spags, but to get aggressive defenders that can defend that quick throw, the quick slant, the bubble screen, the tunnel screen, who's going to play press man and win that fraction of a second that decides the play many times in this new world of the NFL where the ball comes out so fast. I thought he is a perfect Spags corner. His size, he's bigger. He reminds me of like a Stephen Gilmore when in his heyday when he was with the Patriots. That's what he reminds me of, his body type and his core strength. But he's also got ball skills. And then he's a willing tackler. He won so many battles on tape that I was watching where it's a one-on-one battle against really good players in the SEC or when he was at Virginia Tech in the ACC. So he's a numbers to boundary defender to me on goes, but he'll get slants, but he'll also get a pick. He's got 191 career tackles. He's a willing tackler, and the guy has leadership qualities. I said, and I told you this earlier, we got to somehow replicate the 2022 class as close as we can. Mansour Delane is a huge step to getting to that level.
What do you think his ceiling can be? And I ask that question because if you spend the 6th overall pick, and more so if you use 74 and 148 to go up and get him, the organization thinks very highly of your ability.
To be in the same conversation with Pat Surtain and Sauce Gardner, that's the ceiling. And I think he's got a shot to do that.
When I look at his numbers in college and just what excites me about it is a lot of it is just competition, who you were going up against. And I know we throw that term shutdown corner around a lot. In college football, he absolutely was a shutdown corner last year in one of the 2 best conferences in college football.
You look at his completion percentage against him, it was 26%. The quarterback rating when he was targeted is 27 rating. Teams just quit throwing his way. And he literally became a shutdown guy. No penalties, 0. And again, against really good competition. But then you'll get guys like that, but they don't get marks. And I'm not going to compare him completely to McDuffie. Trent was, I think, the best slot blitzer in the league, where Trent just didn't have a lot of interceptions. There weren't a lot of marks, I call them. And you look at Mansour Delane and what he did with 8 interceptions, 27 passes broken up, 7 tackles for losses, 4 forced fumbles. He allowed the 3rd fewest yards among FBS corners, where there was at least 35 targets. But he also got marks. And I just talked to him, and one of the things I asked him about that, of like, they didn't throw your way, but he goes, that's when you get tested. When you get tested is they're not targeting you, because that does not mean you're out of the play. And what that tells me is if he can get a Peanut Tillman punch out, if the ball goes the opposite way or there's a middle screen that's not necessarily in his area, the dude's going to scream over there and try to make a play. The other goal I had was try to replicate the 22 class, but another one would be get a defense that starts looking like the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, nasty, rip your flesh off, get the ball, take it away, punch it out. And I think with Noel Williams and his personality, and now to put Mansour Delane in there, you've got 2 guys that are going to force some turnovers. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself on April the 24th, but I just have a feeling we're going to have more than like 12 takeaways next year.
Right now, we're talking to Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, taking a closer look at the 2 first-round selections. The Chiefs go get Mansour Delane and Peter Woods. We'll get to Peter Woods here coming up in a bit. Mitch, this was my experience, so I'm curious if it's yours. When I saw that the Chiefs were trading up in the NFL draft, I didn't know that Reese was off the board yet. It just hadn't refreshed in that way. That's who I thought they were going up to get. Did you think the exact same thing when that trade happened?
So I'll say that again because I was getting – I'm sorry, I lost train of thought.
No worries. Whenever the trade came across, I didn't know that Reese was off the board. That's who I thought the Chiefs were going to get. I thought they were going up to get Arvell Reese. Now I know that Reese was off the board to 5 with New York, and then the Chiefs got Delane at 6. But I'm curious if you thought when that trade happened, that's who they were going up to get.
No, because I thought it was either going to be Delane or Caleb Downs. Because Caleb Downs, to me, is a Trent McDuffie comp, even though he has a safety by an S by his name. Because I just saw Caleb Downs as a slot corner and wicked smart and tough. You just have a little more of a little bit more of a physical specimen in Mansour Delane. Just the fact that, again, he looks like a Stephon Gilmore. So, And again, I'm not doing this as revisionist history. I've got witnesses that would say in March that I really liked him. He became my guy. But Brett Veach did such a remarkable job of keeping this hidden. But he was thinking the same thing. When Brett Veach was just joking around, he was like, give me your top 9 guys. And I sent it to him. He's like, yeah, not a bad list. Well, I had Mansour Delane at 6. I just kind of stumbled into it, but I loved him all along. So I wasn't totally surprised, but I thought it would either be Delane or Downs.
I'm surprised that you didn't say Bain, because I think a lot of people doing this process wanted Bain the entire time. What do you make of him falling to 15?
Well, when people complained about not taking him, and I'm not going to completely cast aspersions at him, but he went at 15. I mean, that's 9 picks later. So that just tells you what the league was thinking about Bain. So you can, if you want to get angry with the Chiefs, then get angry with the other 8 teams that picked after the Chiefs. I think Bain is a really good player. The short arms become an issue, CDOT, because, and again, the ball comes out so fast now in these offenses, especially in the AFC, and most particularly in the AFC West. Broncos aren't hanging on to it. It's just coming out. Bo Nix is throwing slants or bubbles, right? Or checkdowns, or these one-man, it looks like a check down, but it's a one-man screen because a guard pops out of the clouds. And the fact that it just comes out so fast that you have to somehow disrupt the play. I cannot get a sack necessarily in the first second and a half of a play or 2 seconds, but I can deflect or mess up the play. I can affect the aerodynamics of the throw. And that comes from having wingspan. Chris Jones in the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 54 led to 3 straight 3-and-outs and 40-second possessions of the 49ers because he just became a windmill and was knocking down or affecting the physics of the throw on a timing route. And it's to me the most underrated defensive play in football is that. And so the fact that you don't have wingspan and you're an edge defender does become an issue. And I think it's even more of an issue now than it might have been 3 or 4 years ago. Bain is a high motor guy that's going to be a good NFL player. But I think there was a lot more sales job on him where people just latched onto a name. They latch onto a name in, a month out. And then they're just going to beat it into the ground no matter what. But there were signs that good player, really good player, but he's not in the category of Mansour Delane.
How was the reaction where you were to this pick, to them drafting Delane?
I would say a mixture of everything. You know, when the trade happened, people went nuts because I was at Power and Light, and Matt and I were, I got to introduce Derek Johnson as the newest member into the Hall of Fame, which was, oh my gosh, what a highlight to get DJ in the Hall. And it was great to be with him last night and be with him today. But then the trade, and people went nuts on the trade. Then I think some people, because they've just been hearing about Bain, people have been talking about Bain so much, that's who they thought it was going to be or who they wanted. But now when people kind of sink in about Mansour Delane and study him and the fact that he was a little bit, he wasn't under the radar, but wasn't necessarily like Bain and put up on a ledge, people didn't really know about him. But that was by design. The Chiefs did not want Delane to get to be an item around the league of going, somebody's going to take this guy like Jeremiah Love and jump up and get him. Because 6 is expensive enough. We're sitting here with no third-round third-round pick tonight. And although I think we might jump back in there if I think Brett Veach had his way, but we don't have a third-rounder tonight. That's where people are criticizing it. It's like, wow, it's expensive to move up from 9 to 6. But now it's pretty apparent that if the Chiefs if Washington didn't take him, probably would have, New Orleans was for sure going to take him. And so the Chiefs had to make this move. And now it all completely makes sense looking back 60 to 75 days, going all the way back to the Combine.
Yeah, I think now that we can kind of look back and see their thought process, I think that Brett Veach told himself and his staff, hey, we're going to get one of these 5 guys. We might not necessarily know which one it's going to be. We got to see how the board falls, but we are going to get one of these 5 guys. And they got one of those guys at a very important position, also a position that they do a tremendous job developing. I am surprised at how mixed the reaction is because of those things where I think that checks so many boxes for you taking a home run swing in a top 10 draft pick.
Corner's a premium position. And I know people get into edge rush and you've got to have pass rush. But again, in this day and age of the NFL, you've got to have a good press corner to throw the timing off because of the nature of the offenses, at least right now, in the National Football League. So there's an old adage, it's like pitching in baseball. You can't get enough corners. If you got 4 or 5 really good corners, look at the Seahawks is Exhibit A. So, and honestly, I'm going to give you a theory on why people are so into edge rushers, is the fact that that's how you play fantasy. What defensive measures in the fantasy leagues people are in do they use? It's sacks and picks. If you really want a good fantasy league, use sacks and picks and deflected passes or passes broken up, and then freeze the video when you see the deflection at the line of scrimmage or a pass broken up at the point of the potential reception, and calculate the yardage. And when you do, you will see those plays are as impactful as sacks. Now, you're not backing up from the line of scrimmage, but you're not moving forward from the line of scrimmage. And so we fall in love with sacks, but I've after Super Bowl 54 especially, and since then, I've fallen in love with affected passes at or near the line of scrimmage or the pass broken up, even if you don't intercept it.
Right now, we're talking to Mitch Holtz, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. We're getting his thoughts on the Chiefs draft. Let's talk about Peter Woods. Let's also talk about what you think they could do today with the 40th overall pick. You mentioned premium position. There's some things I'm never going to be mad at a team for drafting. If you go get a cornerback that you like, just given the nature of football in 2026, it's likely a good selection. I'm never going to be mad at you taking a defensive lineman that you think can have an impact. He was a dominant high school player. He was a very good college player. This is a very good selection to me at the bottom half of the first round.
Again, had a chance to be with Peter today, and I was also impressed with him. This is a guy where there's more to him than I knew going in. Now, if you want to be interested in something, it would be that his 24 tape is better than his 25 tape. And if you look at what he was able to get markers, going back to the markers, 24 was a much more productive year for him. That was the year when there was just more going on with him. And not just a sack total. But his flexibility, the best answer I got from him when Matt and I were talking to him, because I said, in watching your tape, it looks like you can play both one gap and two gap. Because some guys in the league as defensive linemen, and it depends on scheme, but their ability is, are they a one gap player? Can they get up the field and disrupt things? And going back to my theory on the quick passes and the quick game in the NFL that's prevalent now, Coach Reed said it's the quickest way to the quarterback. If you get a one-gap penetrator that messes up the middle and timing of the play closest to the quarterback, that's great. But you can't just have all one-gap guys, and because right now the league's going back to running the ball, and our division sure is, because the Broncos want to run it, the Chargers want to run it, and somewhere the Raiders want to run it with Genti. Well, then you better have a two-gap player as well. Peter Woods is a willing two-gap player that has one-gap ability. Does that make sense? And I asked him about that, and he said, yeah. He goes, I'm willing to do either one. And that's not necessarily a common answer, because somebody will say, no, I'm a one-gap guy. I get up the field. And others, let's think of a Derek Nottie, who played for us from 2018 to 2025 with 3 Super Bowl rings. He was a two-gap, I'm going to clog the drain. And you've got to have that. But if you have a player who can do both, that becomes a premium player. And so if you're asking about ceiling of Peter Woods, it's that he would become that guy. Now, you've heard some Aaron Donald comps, but honestly, Aaron Donald was that way. He had such a great one-step up the field quickness, but there's time Aaron Donald would just gut it out and play two-gap and be the best in the league at doing that too. I'm not saying that he's going to be Peter Woods as Aaron Donald, but if it's a guy that has the willingness to be both a one-gap and two-gap player, you've really got something here with a guy that's as athletic as Peter Woods and has the lateral quickness and ability to move.
Right now, we're talking to Mitch Holtz, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. We're getting his thoughts on the NFL draft. Let's look ahead to 40. The point that I have made is it's going to be very telling to see sort of how Kansas City evaluates their team, what their needs are, and also the board. I think they can go in just about any direction, but I think if you look at it and how the draft usually goes, I think that's the last draft pick that you can count on getting an immediate rookie impact. That's not to say that any of their other rookies can't help, but you're not counting on a guy who was drafted in the 140s to be a day one starter for you. He can develop into that, but this is the last draft pick to me that you are going to get a rookie starter out of.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. Now, you can still get a starter at 40, but or someone who immediately kind of morphs into your scheme for sure. People would say you got to get an edge. T.J. Parker of Clemson seems to be would be the popular choice to get started, but he's not alone there. Zion Young of Mizzou is another one, and I like his tape a whole lot. There's some of Peter Woods in the game of Zion Young, but Zion Young's got a 33-inch reach when you're going to compare, and so does Parker, if you're going to compare him to Reuben Bain Jr. But Gabe Ackus of Illinois isn't a complete throwaway at this. He's kind of been a late comer when you look at him, but I went back and watched his video, and Gabe Ackus is going to be a good National Football League player. Again, he's got that combination of speed and power, and so edge comes to mind. Wide receiver gets a little trickier. Boston has dropped. He's there, but I think he'll come off the board before 40. But a pretty good player there. At some point, it'd be nice to get a move tight end. I like Eli Stowers of Vanderbilt, but again, that's where maybe late second round for him. But a move tight end helps you handle that 8 to 12 yard area of the field that defenses are giving you, and it's why I like Mekhi Lemons so much as a receiver, because that's the other side of the equation where the league has changed. Their safeties are back. You're not going to run jet chip wasp. We're going to make you run 8 to 12 yard routes, and then we're going to hit you in the next week when you catch it. Well, who can make the plays consistently in that range? That's Puka Nacua. That's Jackson Smith and Jigba. Those guys are 4 or 5 guys. It doesn't matter. They're just highly productive guys. And so Boston maybe could do that for you, or a move tight end like an Eli Stowers can fill in that gap as well.
That is Mitch Holtz, his voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us on the show. His appearance today was brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, from everywhere you are, that's the benefit of the blue. Mitch, we'll catch up with you on Monday to recap everything Kansas City did in the draft.
Okay, stay tuned. Perfect world is we could trade back into the third round tonight. So just stay tuned.
Absolutely. That is Mitch Holtz of the Kansas City Chiefs joining us on the show today. Rob, I wrote this down. I think you will understand this analogy. I think it will make a lot of sense. I would say 30, 40 minutes ago before Mitch was on the show, we were having the conversation about Mansour Delane. And my point has been, if you were going to take a corner at 6, if you were going to spend the amount of capital that they've spent, he needs to be a star. Your point was Trent McDuffie was a star that didn't really matter. I was saying I think he's a very good number one, but not a star. And you and I were parsing in between, I would say in a baseball analogy, who is an ace? Who would you deem to be a number one? There's very few aces in baseball. There's a lot more guys who are number one. This is the category that I think Delane would fit in. Right now, if we had a topic that said, who's the best wide receiver in the league? I think there would be 3 or 4 guys who would flood the text line. Like text line 913-586-7965. Who's the best wide receiver in the National Football League? There'd be 4 or 5 different answers. If I asked you who's the best defensive player in the National Football League, there would be 5 or 6 different answers. If we are having the conversation about cornerback in 3 years, and I throw out who's the best corner in the National Football League, Mansour Delane needs to be in that conversation. If you are in the barbershop and you are sitting around and somebody says, so-and-so is the best corner in the league, you need to be able to counter with, what about Mansour Delane? And the point I would make about Trent McDuffie, even though I think he's a very good player, I don't think people outside Kansas City were having his name inserted into those conversations. If you were in Miami and you were in the barbershop and somebody said, hey, who do you think's the best corner in the league? I don't think there was a single person in there that was getting their hair cut and was saying, hey, what about Trent McDuffie on the Chiefs? I think they were saying Sauce Gardner. I think they were saying Derek Stingley. I think they were saying Patrick Surtain II. So if you want from me the level of expectation that I think Mansour Delane needs to be in, I think that's it. He needs to be in the conversation. He doesn't need to be the definitive number one. He needs to be in the contending for the belt. He needs to be in the conversation. Just like right now. If you think Justin Jefferson's the best wide receiver, great. If you think that Jamar Chase is there in the conversation, that's where Mansour Delane needs to be. That's the best way I think I can explain it. Mansour Delane doesn't have to be the absolute best corner. But if you spend the 6th overall pick, if you spend 9, 47, and 146 to go up and go get this guy, he has to be considered one of the top guys at his position. You have told us that based on your actions. You have declared you think he is special. There is not a better situation, I think, to be drafted as a corner trying to develop than where you are in Kansas City. Look at their track record over the last decade or so. So if you have this talent, a guy who was locked down, and we'll go through his numbers here in the 5 o'clock hour, if you got that guy and you put him with that defensive coordinator and that defensive back coach, 3 years from now, we need to be having the conversation that Mansour Delane is one of the best corners in the National Football League. And if he is not, they failed, in my opinion. We'll talk more about this coming up on the other side. I like the move to go get Mansour Delane, but there is one question I have about it. I'll tell you what that is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
Very heavy through downtown. We've got a crash causing a lot of the problem. 71 northbound, it's 70. That crash still there blocking the right lane. Down at 435 westbound and Warnaw. That's a crash in the left lane. Overland Park, that crash 35 northbound past 95th, still blocking the right lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This report is brought to you by Bet365. Winning is everything.
With Bet365 early payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Missouri.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, and you could receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, and more of your favorite sports with same-game parlays, live betting, and more. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. This specific promotional offer is not available in Michigan, Mississippi, New Jersey, New York, Nevada, Ontario, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, or West Virginia. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards or non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Taking a look at the pro football futures market following round one of the draft. Dallas to make the playoffs. No minus 125. Yes, plus 105. And I love that price for yes for Dallas to make the playoffs. And I like Dallas plus 230 right now to win the division. Dallas kept its star receiver signing the franchise tag. I think that is a huge deal. And I love Dallas's 2 first-round selections on defense. Stud safety from Ohio State. Pass rusher from UCF. I love it for Dallas. Dallas going to be a playoff team this season in pro football. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring?
I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here for Renner Garage Door, America's oldest family-owned garage door company, serving both wholesale and retail markets. Free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door.
RENNER.
Hey Kansas City, this is Cole Reagans. On your way home from the K, tune into Vern's postgame show right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, I actually think that this text is a great way to start the 5 o'clock hour. Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. C-Dot, the question is, would the Chiefs have been better off taking downs with the 9th pick and keeping the other 2 picks that they have in the process? Please talk about this. Great. I think that's a phenomenal way to start this. I feel, at least for myself, it is very hypocritical of me to spend the last 4 months telling you guys, take a big swing, get who you love. I just don't value draft picks in the way that you guys value them. Now, I'm not saying I have a Los Angeles Rams philosophy when it comes to the NFL draft, but Rob holds draft picks more valuable than he does people. He likes the chance at getting a good player more so than the opportunity of actually having the players. To answer your question very directly, a top 5 player in this year's draft class and being aggressive and going to get him at a premium position. I do not have it in me to be mad at that. They did exactly what I wanted them to do. Now, I wish they had went to go get David Bailey. I wish that he was there. I wish they had done this for Arvell Reese, but those 2 guys were not available to Kansas City. I believe we can deduce, if you want to remove Mendoza, because I don't think the Chiefs had Mendoza on their board, because why would he be on their board? I think you can deduce that the Chiefs had these 5 players as the top 5 players on their board. Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Love, David Bailey, Arvell Reese, and Delane Mansour. I think you can deduce that based on what they've said, how the board moved, how they moved. They had those guys as their top 5. They got one of those players. We know they loved Jeremiah Love. He was the best running back. They were super into running back this year. I think they went to the combine. I think they asked some questions. They realized they had no chance of getting Jeremiah Love, and they pivoted. I think if Jeremiah Love was there at 9, I think they would have taken him. Or I think they would have moved up to go get Jeremiah Love, and you would have argued positional value. I think they loved him the way I think a lot of teams in the league loved him. We know now that they wanted Tate. They said they wanted Tate. They said if Tate was there, they would have moved up to go get him, but he was off the board, so they moved up to go get Mansour Delane. David Bailey was the best defensive player in this class. He went to the same college as Patrick Mahomes, and he was in a position of need. I'm guessing they loved him. Arvell Reese, the exact same thing. If Reese was there at 6, I think they would have moved up to go get him. So I can only speak for my opinion on this. I am not mad that the Chiefs went out to go get a top 5 player on the board on what you can argue is the second most important position on defense. I'm not mad at that, especially when we are not debating on whether or not you think the guy can play or not. No one is arguing that with him. I'll give you the numbers on Mansour Delane. Mansour Delane last year at LSU, he went to a major school playing a major big-time schedule. Last season, Mansour Delane gave up 14 catches. He played 357 snaps. Let me pull this up here because you don't need me to tell you. Let Mitch Holtis tell you this. Maybe you don't care what Carrington has to say about this. Maybe you don't care. Let me play for you what Mitch Holtis had to say from the numbers perspective for Mansour Delane. Because I can give you the numbers. I'd rather Mitch give you the numbers.
A perfect Spags corner. His size, he's bigger. He reminds me of like a Stephen Gilmore when in his heyday when he was with the Patriots. That's what he reminds me of, his body type and his core strength. But he's also got ball skills. And then he's a willing tackler. He won so many battles on tape that I was watching where it's a one-on-one battle against really good players in the SEC or when he was at Virginia Tech in the ACC. So he's a numbers to boundary defender to me on goes, but he'll get slants, but he'll also get a pick. He's got 191 career tackles. He's a willing tackler, and the guy has leadership qualities.
Of course, Rob would try to sabotage the audio because he didn't want the Chiefs to get Mansour Delane. Of course he would do this. I'll give you the numbers. I apologize. He played 357 snaps last year. He gave up 14 catches. In no game last season did a player get multiple catches on Mansour Delane. He gave up 0 touchdowns last college football season. He committed 0 penalties last college football season. Quarterbacks throwing his direction had a 31.3 passer rating last year. Quarterbacks throwing in his direction completed 26% of their passes last season. We were not talking about a good corner last year in college football. We are talking about the best corner last year in college football. We are talking about a shutdown corner in last year's college football. I am sorry. I know a lot of you wanted them to go get Ruben Bain. You will never get corner, Dot, because at my core, that's who I am. You will never get me upset that they spent a premium pick on a premium asset. No, not at all. You will not get me upset about an organization who has shown their ability to scout and develop corners are taking a swing on a player that they think has a chance to be a star. And the declaration when you spend $974 and $146 to go get one player is you don't think he is a good player. You think he has a chance to be a great player. Mitch Holtis and I, we were 100% in lockstep today in our conversation. Now, I'm not telling you this is his ceiling. I am telling you based on the way the Chiefs are moving and what they just did, they echo these sentiments that Mitch Holtis said.
To be in the same conversation with Pat Surtain and Sauce Gardner, that's the ceiling. And I think he's got a shot to do that.
I didn't say that. That's Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, legendary. You know him. If you spend the 6th overall pick on a corner, you are telling me that you believe he has the ability to transform into a star. You think he can be in the conversation of best corner in the league. I'm willing to see. I don't think that's a bad selection. I really, really think that we are paralyzed by mock drafts. I made this point earlier. We spend as much time looking at mock drafts as we spend watching NFL games. Think about when the draft process starts now, and it started even earlier in Kansas City because they were out of it in December. So you have spent all December looking at mocks, all January, all February, all March, and most of April looking at mock drafts. You spent 4 months looking at mock drafts. The NFL regular season is 4 months. We spend a third of the season watching the games and a third of the season getting ready to who you can get. And when you keep seeing Bain, trade up to get Bailey, I believe the Chiefs fans work themselves up in a lather to go get this guy. So when they see that trade, you're getting all excited. Your endorphins are going high. We're going to do it. Mansour Delane, maybe this was just my experience. I can't speak for where anybody else was. We're sitting there at the Brooksider. Chiefs fans everywhere. They got on jerseys, T-shirts. Everybody is in a good mood. We're eating, we're drinking, we're taking pictures. It's connecting over football. Rob, no one was excited in that bar about Mansour Delane. There was no energy. We've had a draft party, the last 5 years for the draft? When they got Josh Simmons last year, there was an excitement when they got him. When the Chiefs traded up to go get Xavier Worthy, there was an excitement about it. It was crickets in there. And I'm sitting there, I'm confused at how people weren't excited about this. I remember the tone about this pick was they'll never be in this position again. That was the tone, right? The tone was you got to take a big swing because these chances don't come around often. You tell me a time that you think, again in Brett Veach's history, Patrick Mahomes' history, that you think the Chiefs will have the ability to take the number one player at a premium position. That's what they just did. Tell me the time you think that will happen. Do you think they'll ever be in a chance where they can take the best wide receiver in the draft class? They weren't this year. At the 9th pick, they weren't in a chance to take the best wide receiver. They weren't in a chance to take the best running back in this year's draft class. They weren't in the ability to take the best defensive player in this year's draft class, the best pass rusher in this year's draft class. You tell me a time where you think a premium top 5 position on the field in the Patrick Mahomes era, you think the Chiefs will have that chance. They took that chance, and I'm supposed to be mad that they couldn't take the 9th best wide receiver on the board with the 74th overall pick? I'm supposed to be upset that they gave up that opportunity to take some corner from Middle Tennessee State who may or may not turn out to be a star? I'm not mad about that. If you're mad about that, fine. I'm not mad about that. I am not mad that the Chiefs identified who they wanted and were aggressive about going up and getting him, and now you know who your number one corner is for the next 4 seasons, and I would also say you know who your number 2 corner is for at least the next 3 seasons. Their secondary is in a good spot right now. Now, let's see what else they do. But you can only address one need at a time, and cornerback was absolutely a need for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know everybody loves Noel Williams. He played less snaps last year than Josh Simmons, who voluntarily missed a month of the season and then didn't play the final month of the season. Christian Fulton was not a part of meaningful snaps for the Kansas City Chiefs. They were going into this season with a serious question mark at corner. Now, some of that is self-inflicted. They traded a guy for a first-round pick, and we'll talk more about Peter Woods here coming up in a bit. But you go from, I would say, a lot of uncertainty around the cornerback position, but I think you got to feel good. You got 2 young guys that you can build around. You have a completely retooled, revamped secondary from corner to safety. Now, let's start focusing on some other needs of the defense. I am a little bit surprised that this move is not being championed in the way that I've seen some lesser moves that they have made. There was a buzz about them getting Josh Simmons. There was a feeling that, hey, we got the 10th overall pick and he fell all the way to us. People were excited they went up to go get Xavier Worthy. The tone around Xavier Worthy was, I can't believe the league let them get Xavier Worthy. That was the tone. How stupid everybody was that the league would let them get Xavier Worthy. Who is the laugh on now? Is it on the league or is it on the Chiefs? The Chiefs got the number 1 corner on the board. And I feel like I'm the most excited about it. I'm very surprised. This usually isn't the tone that the show has. I'm normally trying to ramp down people's excitement. I got to ramp up people's excitement about the 6th overall pick.
I think, and I'm not going to speak for everyone. This is kind of how I feel about the 6th overall pick. And I want to do this on the record first. I do agree with you and Mitch. The talent is immense for Mansour Delane. He really is a good prospect with a very high ceiling, and I like the Chiefs targeting corner. But I think, and this is where I will speak for myself and most Chiefs fans, 2 things happened. One, we all offseason identified the Chiefs' 2 biggest needs in some order as running back and edge rusher. They addressed running back on free agency day 1. They got Kenneth Walker. Boom. Check the. I didn't like it.
You were also mad about it?
I didn't like it, but it was a need. They checked the box.
I had to throw that out there. You were mad about it?
I was. Well, they overpaid. That doesn't matter. That's number one. Number two, which edge rusher? I thought it was number one. You thought it was number one of their top things.
Yeah,
Text line, everyone.
It is still elite for sure.
And you are in the top 10 of the draft, which Bink has hammered this stat into my brain that's where the best sack people to come from. And then you trade up, and what was a name everyone was excited about was sitting on the board, who was great in the college football playoff, and everyone felt like it's coming home. They're going to take a big swing with their other big asset, not free agency, their other big asset. And
They
they're gonna get
did
their
take
other,
a big swing, though.
but they did not
where I
address their
disagree.
other biggest need. I also think fans, and I fall in this category too, feel like Brett Veach can create corner out of thin air. So to give up big compensation to go get one in the top 10 feels like, why are we doing that when he could draft, insert the kid from Tennessee today at 40, and I have a hunch that kid would be good because Brett Veach drafted that kid.
Yeah, and I get that. I guess two things. This is where I just get frustrated with the concept of mock drafts. Mock drafts are just fun things to read. That's what they are. They're fun things to read. But I'm on social media yesterday and I'm seeing people, oh, well, he would have been there at 9. What are you basing that opinion on? I'm not trying to, what are we basing the opinion on that Mansour Delane would have been there? Because the people that cover the National Football League have told us repeatedly that is not true. The people that do this for a living, that talk to these people and hang out with these people, some of them sleep with, the people that do this for a living, they are telling you that Mansour Delane was not going to be there at 9. So if they wanted him, they had to do exactly what they did to go up there and get him. So I keep hearing about this value, this value. The only people that determine the value are NFL general managers. And that's why I say is I think we have analysis by so many different mock drafts that we convince ourselves, oh, that guy's a great value pick. Well, who determines this? Is the value determined by what Daniel Jeremiah thinks about this? Is the value determined by what Mel Kiper thinks or how NFL general managers feel? For example, Albert Breer, we agree, top 5 NFL reporter. He went on the Dan Patrick Show on Monday and said only one quarterback was going to be drafted in round 1. One got picked at 13. That's not to say that Albert doesn't know what he's talking about. All I'm saying is they're just opinions. That's all they are, is opinions based on what they're hearing, what they're thinking. Ultimately, we can go from opinion to fact. And the fact is, the league identified Mansour Delane as a top 10 talent, and they did not feel that way about Bain. And I think what's so confusing to me about this entire process is, and maybe this is just where I was, if across that red line, if they had said breaking news, Chiefs trade up with the Cleveland Browns and the Chiefs go get Ruben Bain, I think that place would have went insane. I think that place would have went crazy. Rob, we were standing next to each other. If they had announced that the Chiefs went up to go get Ruben Bain and Brett Veach did a press conference and said how important pass rush was and how they feel they got a ready-to-go pass rusher, people would be going crazy right now for it. It would have been a bad trade based off your concept of value because the NFL determined what his value was, and nobody thought he was a top 10 pick, and he wasn't a top 12 pick. He got picked at 15. Now, that's not to say that he can't be a good player. That's not to say that the league can't be wrong about him. But I'm saying is I'm seeing people upset with what they gave up to go get Mansour Delane. If that upsets you, you have to at least acknowledge that you would have been fine with them using 9, 47, and 146 to go get the player that went 15th overall. You'd have been fine with using him at 6. Then you're wrong. You're wrong. You can't play both sides, at least not when it comes to this. Yes, I wanted them to go get a pass rush. Yes, I want them to go get a wide receiver. Yes, I want them to go do those things. But I also want them to go get stars and impact players. I'm not saying you can't win championships because you drafted Jalen Watson. They're great players to have. You win championships because you find the Chris Jones. You win championships because you find the Travis Kelce's, because you find the Trent McDuffie's, because you find the Patrick Mahomes. So if they think they are adding a player like that who can be a foundational piece for the next 10 years, I'm more than open to that. Now, I would say my biggest question about this, because I don't question the prospect. I don't have injury concerns. I don't have productivity concerns. I don't have any of those things. It's, let's say they're right. Let's say that Brett Veach is 100% right. And 3 years from now, we feel like Mansour Delane is the best corner in the league. He's Patrick Surtain. He's in the conversation to win Defensive Player of the Year. He's first team All-Pro. You feel like he can line up against anybody. What happens when it's time to pay him? Because their history says, we are not paying you. But you obviously love him. Look at everything you gave up to go get him. I mean, you were so quick to go pay Trent. You were so quick to go pay Creed Humphrey. You were so quick to go pay all these other guys. If they are 100% right about Mansour Delane and they have Derek Stingley on their team, I don't want to be having the conversation in 3 years of how it's in their best interest to take the 11th overall. No. Build a great secondary and go from there. That's my only concern about this pick. I honestly don't have any other concern about this pick. I don't have a size concern. I don't have a physical trait concern. All the production is there. The attitude is there. I think he is a foundational piece. And I've said during this entire process, what I think the Chiefs really need is they need a lot of guys between 22 and 25 to start rebuilding that foundation. Your foundation can't be 37-year-old Travis Kelce, who's about to retire in 12 months. Your foundation can no longer be Chris Jones, who you save $19 million if you release him at the end of the season. They need to start creating their new foundation with Mansour Delane and Peter Woods and all of these other individuals. That's what they need to start doing. They took a step in that direction. I will celebrate that move.
I also think, and we don't have to get bogged down on this, you made the point that trading up for Bain would have been wrong, and that's what the board said. I also think it's worth monitoring what happens with these players, because maybe Bain's a bust. Maybe Delane's a bust. Maybe both are a bust. Maybe both are stars. But I also feel like, to your point about we put too much value in mock drafts, we also, on the day of the draft, determine after they get picked, oh, he's good or bad. Like, Bain falling to 15, if you're an anti-Bain person, you're saying that's a sign that it's not going to work. But time will be the end-all, be-all. And you know what? If Ruben Bain ends up being Myles Garrett and Delane ends up being, Patrick Surtain and everyone wins, this argument's moot. But these are now two things to monitor, because the Chiefs in round one, at least with the premium asset, said no thank you to the best edge rusher on the board and went up and got the best corner on the board. I'm going to hold him to the B. Derek Stingley standard.
And that's fair.
While also I'm going to keep monitoring Ruben Bain. Because if let's say he's Trent McDuffie and Ruben Bain ends up being FAU, then I look like an idiot. But those are the two things now to monitor going forward, because that was the edge rusher available, and that was the corner they went up and got.
Someone sent this, and I know we're running up against it because we got to hand things off to the Royals. Someone was making the point about wide receiver. I found it. Perfect. The problem is that the Chiefs have massive needs at edge and wide receiver and lesser needs at other positions. Losing your third and fifth now make it so much harder to fill those positions. The Chiefs need bodies right now with their roster's talent level. What if the Chiefs don't see it as massive needs? What if they don't see it that way? What if the Chiefs still feel the way about Rashee Rice that you guys felt about Rashee Rice 6 months ago? What if they think with a new offensive coordinator and a new wide receiver coach that they can get the most out of Xavier Worthy? Because if they end up I don't even know if you really need to turn Rashee Rice's career around so much. Just tell him to keep his hands to himself and give him an Uber. If you can do those two things, I think you got an 1,000-yard receiver. Can you get Xavier Worthy to be an 800-yard receiver? I mean, he was a first-round pick. We're not even talking about him being can you get him to be a 800-yard guy? But they don't have a massive need at wide receiver. That's why I'm really big on pick number 40 is going to tell us exactly what they think. Maybe I'm wrong. And they end up getting Denzel Boston, a wide receiver, with the 40th overall pick. What if they go defense again? Because this offseason, they have invested very heavily in retooling their defense. Look at every move they made outside of Kenneth Walker. They have spent 4 draft picks to pick 2 defensive players so far. They are in the business of retooling this defense. I think they're going edge rusher with the 40th overall pick. We'll be back on Monday to recap all of this. We'll have guests over the next couple of days. I'm really looking forward to recapping the draft with you guys. Appreciate you. We hand things off to Vern, but until then, I'll let Daniel Craig take you home.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
You're listening to The Drive with